Screonk, a Godzilla movie marathon where we're stomping through Godzilla's filmography. I'm Derek, and I've seen all the Godzilla movies.
And I'm Doug, and I've seen 15 Godzilla movies.
Yes, and we've got a bit of a hodgepodge episode today, or Frankenstein episode. We're not talking about the Toho Frankenstein, but it's in that universe. But first, we like to take a quick moment to thank our spectacular patrons: Bo, Carl, Katie, Jason, Zoe, James, Keith, Cody, Toby, Hamish, and Troidal Power.
Thank you
so much. Yes, so this month there's some fun scheduling things that we'll get into in a second. So it's not a real episode this month, but you are getting some new stuff. So we're going to be rebroadcasting a bonus episode we did on our Patreon on the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla cartoon from 1978. You're going to hear that after this initial conversation that we're having. So if you aren't a patron or you never got around to listening to that one, stay tuned. It's a really fun conversation about that cartoon that you'll get to listen to. But before we get to that, because we just got some updates on where we're at right now, we're going to give you the schedule of upcoming episodes. So stay tuned for that. But I think before we get to that, I just got back from Japan and did some Godzilla.
Whoa!
Yeah, and I got sick there, which is why I sound all nasally right now. So that's cool, but it's fine. I'm getting better. It's great.
Yeah,
everything's great. Back
dedicated, jumping right back in.
It's fine. Yep, I landed back into the country, step foot in the United States to fires on one coast and ice storms that knocked out all the water in my city on the other coast. It's fine. My apartment had water. I was just under a boil water advisory. No big deal. Everything's fine. There's no apocalyptic stuff happening. Great. Welcome back to the United States of America. I expected nothing less. This was just because we weren't going to have time to record a regular episode. I figured this would be a fun new thing to do. I don't really know the easiest way to go through this that isn't like, let's talk about me, everyone.
But we're going to talk about you.
I guess we're going to talk about me anyway.
I want to. I haven't talked to you forever. I guess for Screonk people, it's still like a monthly schedule, but yeah, I talk to you a lot more frequently than once a month.
Yeah, this is genuinely the first time Doug and I have had a conversation that wasn't just like in a group text chat about Pokemon in like literally a month, which is very weird.
Yeah. Well, welcome back. I can't wait to hear about this trip. I was trying to live vicariously through you to some extent, but also wanted to make sure that you could like tell me stuff too in the spirit of Screonk. So I'm excited to hear about stuff that you did.
Yeah, you could also just pretend you don't know things and ask me about it anyway. That would make it easier.
You
on
were
me.
where?
Yeah, I was in Japan for a little over 2 weeks. This is my first time going. I haven't had a lot of opportunities in my life to travel very far in general. So this for me, this is a pretty significantly big trip. Hopefully there will be more. I definitely didn't get to do everything that I wanted to do. Even within the parameters that I was traveling, I didn't get to hit up a lot of what I thought were my priorities just because of time and stuff. But I still packed a lot into it. We were in Tokyo, and then we also spent a few days in Kyoto and Nara and Osaka as well. We were there over Christmas and New Year's, which is really cool. Christmas, not a huge deal over there, but New Year's is a very huge deal. So it felt very special to be able to spend New Year's, especially in Kyoto, where there's a lot that's happening, especially a lot of the shrines that are over there. So that was really cool and special. But I can't talk about everything that I did there because we did a lot. But for the Screonk listeners, I think the thing of interest would be like the Godzilla stuff that I got to do. And then maybe some of the tokusatsu related things. But what I will say right off the bat is that I think that one of the most interesting takeaways that I have is that I think we all intellectually know that obviously Godzilla, because it's a Japanese property, is going to be bigger there comparatively to America. Yeah. But even still, I do think experiencing the ubiquity of Godzilla in Japan, especially in like Tokyo, where, you're the center of like pop culture, that's still like actually experiencing that and just seeing how much Godzilla there is and Ultraman, both of those things, just literally everywhere you walk, you're going to find some Godzilla thing somewhere, or every store you go in that has any semblance of like a pop culture or souvenirs or toys is like guaranteed to have a big just Godzilla section like that. I knew that was kind of a thing, but like actually experiencing that like, oh, this character is like the equivalent to like a Mickey Mouse or a Batman for us is still sort of weird to actually experience when you're looking for it, you know?
Yeah. Were there any sort of instances where, despite knowing the ubiquity of it, you were still like jump scared by Godzilla, or just a pop culture thing you weren't necessarily expecting in context?
Not as much that, so much as just the size of it anywhere I went. Like I can't remember what it was. There's one early when we were like in the first few days when we were in Tokyo. It was just one of the stores we went to. I think it started with a Y, but I don't remember what it's called. So I'm not even going to try to make up anything because I don't remember what it was. But it was just a big store in Tokyo, but it was not specifically centered on like Godzilla type stuff. It was just a big store that had a little bit of everything. Yeah. It had the fucking biggest Godzilla section that was playing Godzilla music and score over the speakers in that section, playing movie trailers, on little screens around there.
Movie trailers? Just of different movies?
Godzilla movie trailers.
See, that's fascinating to me because even if we had a store that had a big Godzilla display because a Godzilla thing was relevant, it would be so focused on the one Godzilla thing that was most recently relevant.
Yeah, it was like, there was a trailer, I think it was just cycling through all of them because I saw
cool.
one for Godzilla X Kong, but then I also saw one for Godzilla versus Hedorah. Like, and there's nothing about that movie is relevant right now in pop culture. Right. It's just because they're cycling through it, like that kind of stuff. And I do think that it's like it's the whole of history for it. Yeah, like I think you're right. For us, like it's not like Godzilla isn't a popular property in America, but it's if you're going to see stuff, it's going to be whatever the latest Godzilla thing is. And for a lot of places that would have these sections, it is about the whole of history. And part of that is probably because it was the 70th anniversary as well. Sure. So like maybe for me, I just got lucky and it was just everywhere I went, it was more enhanced because they were celebrating that.
That's
but
still
even
special, though. We don't have something like that. Like even when Disney celebrates its 100 or whatever, which I think technically happened, right? Like it's not like the whole country was all Disneyed out. Like we can't do things like that.
Yeah. It's interesting too. I think like, the weird commodification of it in a way that's also celebrating of it, I think is really interesting because I think about sometimes the way that conversations in America with American pop culture comes up nowadays, like with the franchise conversations that we have, where it's like you have these big like superhero universes and like Star Wars and stuff like that, and it's sort of like, well, at what point are we sort of making it less art and then making it more just a franchise machine that's just pumping out branded content on things. And I feel like we sometimes get really precious about that. And I think for good reason, but then I'm looking over there and I'm like, fucking Godzilla, the representation of like the atomic bomb in World War II is like on fucking everything. Or like Evangelion, which is like popular but very weird and esoteric. Yeah. You walk every corner, there's vending machines with Evangelion characters just branded on it, like stuff for little kids, which Evangelion is not a little kids thing, but yet you can go to Toei Studio Park and get your picture taken on the giant Eva. It's like, I think that, I don't know, maybe there are those conversations just in those spaces within Japanese culture, and I'm just experiencing it as a tourist. But to me, it feels like the general feeling is that people are a little bit less precious about those things being celebrated than maybe we get in America sometimes, where it's like, it's okay to merchandise the hell out of Godzilla because it's fun and you will buy it because it's cool, and maybe you don't have to be so like weird about it. I don't know. I'm not stating an opinion either way. I'm more just think it's sort of interesting. Like that's sort of the observation that I've felt. Again, I'm not getting that from specifically having those conversations with like very insular Japanese pop culture experts. So maybe those conversations are there, but like being someone on the outside observing things as a tourist, it just feels like, I don't know. I got the sense that people are just sort of like, yeah, Godzilla is cool. Like, go to the Godzilla store and it's great. Have a great time. Nobody's like fretting about this, you know?
So this might be an impossible question to answer, but like, I trust you to sort of be able to have these observations. You were a tourist in there, and you obviously had like specific things you wanted to hit up. So like in a way, you're part of who I'm talking about. But like, usually when I see folks who visit, I'm seeing what they're seeing because I know them through Japanese pop culture. But I don't know you. I guess technically I do because of Power Rangers. But like primarily, I don't know you through Japanese pop culture. So we've had conversations about all kinds of things. And I know I would see you observing things outside of just the stuff I know you for. So like, is it like as saturated as it seems when I'm seeing people visit, like all like the pop culture cafes and all that sort of stuff, or is it all destination stuff?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, because I think like obviously Japan is a big country with like different regions and different cultures within it, right? And so I and a lot of other people when we're visiting, we're only visiting like the big hubs where most tourists go. So Tokyo, for example, is going to target the stuff that tourists would come to more than any other place. In that
context,
right? That's what I'm saying. That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. But even within that context, there are other cities in America that are tourist spots, right? Like New York, Chicago, LA. Those are like big destinations for visitors who come to if they come to the United States, those are the cities they're probably going to go visit. So those are going to be the things that have the most touristy locations, right? I don't feel like you go to New York and have the level of saturation of pop culture hubs that you do when you go to Tokyo, where it does feel like the tourist attractions are predominantly more pop culture related than they are like historical, for example, which is insane to say because there is so much history in Japan. And I visited a lot of historical sites, and the deep history of like thousands of years of history is there. And yet you go to Tokyo and it's like, yeah, everywhere you turn, it's another fucking branded cafe for something or other, or branded store or pop-up or something. The pop-ups are crazy.
It's not like you had to hunt for them ahead of time and like really make sure your itinerary was like tight. Yeah,
you will kind of run into stuff. Like just walking around, I ran into so much like Squid Game 2 stuff all over the place. I ran into a Squid Game pop-up shop just walking into a store that had nothing to do with Squid Game otherwise. Like, yeah, it is really that easy. And again, I'm frequenting a lot of the spaces in Tokyo. Like I'm not talking like residential areas of Tokyo. Of course. Right? There are spots that we would go that were more like just like a normal city. But I do think, to your point, like I feel like you're right. Like the concentration of pop culture related things, the ratio of it is more than I think you would find in Western cities that I have been to. Yeah.
So what was the first Godzilla you found?
Well, I mean, like I said, I think all this finding them in stores was the first big thing, because it was like, again, every store you turn and every sort of weird bit of Godzilla merchandise or branding you can find. One of the weirdest things I saw was like you could just buy a patch of Godzilla's skin as like a plaque. I thought it was like a wallet or like a magnet. No, it's literally just like a plastic square that's like, here's a close-up of this Godzilla skin and here's a close-up of this Godzilla skin. Like how it's different.
That's fascinating.
I don't know what you'd use it for.
But it's not like it's not like costume, like when they sell like squares of costume fabric.
No, it's just like plastic. Like it's just to look at it. Like stuff like that. It's like literally every way you can merchandise them, they merchandise the fuck out of it. Which, and that's when it's like, if you want to get cynical about like merchandising, I'm like, that's where you can go, because it's like, why the fuck would anyone want that? But you know what? I'm sure someone does and has bought it because they're selling it.
You could do probably a pretty cool art display with something like that if you really wanted to.
Maybe. I don't know.
I haven't seen it with my eyes, so I'm like imagining like the coolest version of it.
Yeah, it was pretty small. I don't know. I was like, really? We're doing this? But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of that. And a lot of, one of the things that I did too is like in Nakano Broadway, which is a a mall that has a lot of like vintage stores, like Mandarake stores are these stores that are all like secondhand vintage goods, and there's a ton of them, and they all specialize in stuff. So like, you know, you can go to one that's like all Super Sentai Metal Heroes stuff, and you better believe I bought a lot of fucking shit from there, and you know, stuff like that, or like, you know, this one's all records or whatever. Godzilla's in like all of them. Like even ones that aren't necessarily Godzilla centric, you're probably going to find a Godzilla thing somewhere. You know, I think the predominance of tokusatsu in general in any of these pop culture spaces, like Godzilla kind of is sort of transcends all barriers for those things, because any tokusatsu TV thing, Godzilla, you're going to find something there because it's related to tokusatsu as like the granddaddy of tokusatsu. But like movie stores, you're going to find a Godzilla thing there. Video game stores, you're going to find some Godzilla stuff. Record stores, you're going to find some Godzilla soundtracks. Like, you're just finding it like everywhere that you buy merchandise of some kind, especially vintage stuff. And again, I think the sort of like history of it is really well respected. So like we went to one place, one Mandarake store. I think it was a Mandarake store, that was like, had a lot of like vintage movie posters, and like the whole display, like most of the store was like just Japanese movies of all kinds, but the whole display was all just Godzilla movie posters, because those are the ones that are like the most, you know, sought after, that are the highest price ones. So even stores that like aren't really about Godzilla, it's Godzilla shit all over the outside of them before you go in. That gets, and then they'll get the stupid Godzilla fan tourist to go into the store that then only has posters for movies you've never heard of. Smart marketing, like they did it right, because they got us in their net. But there are some Godzilla statues that are around Tokyo that we had on our list that we didn't get a chance to get to because we were seeing plenty of other Godzilla-related things, and it was like just going to see one statue, we're gonna see another one. But there's a Godzilla statue outside of the Bandai head office, alongside like an Agumon statue from Digimon, and an Ultraman, and a Doraemon, and a Goku. That's cool. That was a fun one. Bandai head office. This isn't a really much of a Godzilla-related thing, but I would recommend that as a stop, because like they have a small museum that you can get through in like 20 minutes, but it is a really, really cool museum of just like the whole history of their toys, like dating back to like the 50s and stuff. It's really cool. This is a minor thing, but at like Toei Studio Park in Kyoto, which Toei obviously does not own Godzilla, so I didn't expect to see anything Godzilla there. Even there, Godzilla is still acknowledged, because there's an entire timeline that they have of like tokusatsu history, because a big part of that park is like Kamen Rider Super Sentai section where they do their shows and everything. And on that timeline, Godzilla is still at the end of it as the beginning of tokusatsu. That's cool. Right, because I'm like, from a corporate standpoint, you really don't have to acknowledge that, right? Like, you can really be like, you know, well, Kamen Rider started in this year, and we'll start there. But it's like they're acknowledging a rival studio being like, we don't own this, like we don't benefit anything from this, but you can't not acknowledge the fact that Godzilla is the reason that all of this stuff exists.
Yeah, I imagine like large American animation companies doing like a display about animation history and including anything but their own stuff. Like, it just
Disney
doesn't seem like they would
do that. No, you know,
no.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, I think that's kind of cool. And like, and I don't know, I do think that's another interesting thing just in general, like the way that tokusatsu is treated over there. I think, again, the ubiquity of it, like, obviously, we know that tokusatsu is a much bigger medium and genre there than it is in America, but the way that it is just one of the key tentpole types of filmmaking like that exists there, and it is so clear in their pop culture that like if you're gonna have a mascot character that isn't like literally a mascot, it's gonna be like fucking Kamen Rider or Ultraman. Like you're just gonna see them, and it's and like and you know, and again, I think Godzilla is just sort of part of that, right? Where it's just like these are just the key tentpoles of our pop culture, and I don't think you can really fully understand that unless you've actually experienced like every you turn around, you're going to see even like obscure tokusatsu from the 70s that like I only know because I've actively done research on like Akumizer 3 and Barome 1 and stuff like that. Shit that, and Kage Star, like shit that people, unless like the big nerds, have never heard of. It's fucking like in just store windows of any like vintage pop culture shop or like, DVD or video rental store and stuff.
Yeah.
And I only say that because it's like Godzilla, I think, is wrapped up into that, where it's just like the ubiquity of it everywhere. And I think the acknowledgement of that history is really, really cool.
Yeah. You mentioned the Mandarake stores. Any interesting finds that you picked up Godzilla wise? Or was that mostly where you got like other tokusatsu stuff?
So yeah, I think one of the troubles that I had is that like, because Godzilla is a reasonably popular thing in America, is that like I was a little bit careful of what I got Godzilla wise, because like a lot of stuff is just being sold in America like very easily. Like all the vinyl Godzilla like things that I like, like they weren't that much cheaper in Japan as they are in America, that I could just get in any toy store. So a lot of stuff that I got were like Super Sentai toys, especially vintage ones that like I got the Bull Black from Ginga Man, which is, Magna Defender. I got his Toro Zord, or the Super Sentai version of it. I got it for like, I don't know, like $15 or something. If you tried to buy that like on eBay in America, it would probably be like $100 or something. And I got a bunch of like Q Ranger stuff as well.
Oh hell yeah.
Things like that. But the big thing that I looked for Godzilla. Oh, well, one thing that I did get, this wasn't from a Mandarake store. This is from a Book Off, which is another secondhand store chain.
Yeah, I hear about Book Off all the time.
Those are great.
That's cool.
I did get a Shin Godzilla set, a Blu-ray set that I think there was never an American version of it. It was only sold in Japan, where it's like it's not like leather, but like kind of the textured cover, and it's like a 3-disc set. It's really nice.
Dang.
Yeah, there probably isn't English subtitles on it, but I don't care. I'm buying it because the packaging is cool. Yeah. It's a nice set. But I did get that one for, again, like, I think that on eBay, like, they sell for like $70 or something. I got it for like $15. Like,
dang.
Everything's really cheap. Also, this is not Godzilla related.
Yeah.
I was really proud of this. Another secondhand DVD that I got. It was a Spider-Man trilogy Blu-ray set that came out in 2007. That was only ever released in Japan. It's fucking a beautiful fucking set, and it's got all of them in it. This one probably does have like the English version of it on there.
Probably.
And it's another one that I was looking online. I was like, did I get like a rare item? I can't even find it like anywhere. Like I think it's unpurchasable, so probably. And I got it for, I think, less than $20.
Dang, that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it also helps that like the US dollar is like worth a lot more over there. So like everything.
So that plus like not having to import, not having to ship, not having
everything was super cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, but talking about purchases though, I didn't really get any like vintage Godzilla things, like I said, but I did get some books.
Ooh.
Like, and I don't even know what some of these are, but I got like a little picture book. And obviously it's all in Japanese, but like with all this stuff, especially with like picture books and movie things, like you can just use like Google Lens on it if you want to.
I was going to say it's easier than ever. Yeah.
Yeah. So like a little picture book of Godzilla things. Another, I think like 70th anniversary magazine book. I don't know what it is, but it looked cool and it was really cheap and had a lot of Godzilla
relatively
shit.
Hefty too.
Yeah, Godzilla history stuff. I had an official MOOC, MOOK. I need to look up what these are. There was a bunch of them for like every movie, and I got one. I got Volume 0, the original one.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I think these are all like, these aren't vintage things. I think these are like new books that are just about Godzilla history and everything. And then I got this like big box that's just a figure of the 84 Return of Godzilla. But
that's
also
a cool package.
It's a great package, and it also comes with a little book with it.
Yeah.
And I don't have a figure of that Godzilla, so it was a cool one to get.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of like gashapons that I have somewhere. I still haven't unpacked everything, but I have a lot of gashapons, a lot of stickers from like B-Side Label as well. It's another thing that I would recommend. But B-Side Label just is basically a sticker store. You just
oh wow, that's cool.
It's so many fucking like great stickers. I spent so much money there. Stickers, but also like tote bags and like you're buying it for like souvenirs and stuff. But like there's multiple B-side labels and they have like exclusive stickers there. It's like you go in there and then it's like overwhelming and then you spend like an insane amount of money on fucking stickers and
like,
all
how
things,
did I
but
do
they're all
this?
great. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so like a lot of stuff that I haven't gone through, a lot of stuff that's going to turn out to be souvenirs. You're probably going to get some Godzilla stuff from me that I don't remember buying. I'm sure there's bags of things, but like those are some of the big things that I got. But yeah, again, not like huge purchases or anything like that. That was all the stuff that I got were like things that I wouldn't be able to find in America, or like old Toku shows, like old vinyl toys for old Toku shows.
Yeah.
Like Jetman and stuff like that you're not gonna be able to find here.
Man, I'm just like thinking of the things that I would like probably get like really fixated on trying to find, because it's like actually a real official like legal copy of something. You know what I mean? Like Kamen Rider Wizard. Like the moment I started seeing like Kamen Rider DVDs, I'd be like, Wizard's got to be here somewhere, you know?
I mean, you will find it. You absolutely, especially that's a newer enough one.
Yeah.
That you'll probably get it for cheap. I got a bunch of like Q Ranger like CDs, like CD
so
dramas
cool.
and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. You
awesome.
might be getting some Kamen Rider or Wizard things in the mail at some point. Yeah. I mean, but that's the other thing is like DVD and VHS like stores are still like a thing.
Whoa.
Physical media stuff in general, and again, it's a lot of like secondhand stores. I'm not talking like the main like hippest strips.
But the
like,
secondhand stores I go to don't really sell VHSs anymore. Like they've pretty much given up on that. I'm sure. And I'm talking some
like
key ones.
Exclusively like DVD stores, like exclusively videos and like physical media stuff. Like that's the thing. Malls are also fucking everywhere. Everywhere's a mall. It's malls. We were in like we will accidentally like there like I think it's the Kyoto train station, the main Kyoto one. And we were looking for our train and somehow ended up in a mall that's like below the train station and attached to the train station and got lost in the mall. There's so many malls. It's ridiculous.
I miss indoor malls so much. We do technically have one still. But like I live in an area of the country that it like frequently has snow. Why are our malls outside? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm so jealous. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Another Godzilla thing that I did that was really cool was the this has been around for a while now, but the Godzilla light projection.
Oh, what's this?
At the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building. That's the building that's AKA Hypnos in Digimon Tamers, if you know you know. So that I would just have to send you the video at some point. I can send you the link to my. I posted on Instagram. I posted on Blue Sky as well.
I found it. I've got it.
Yeah, you can just look at a little. It's a full 5-minute thing, but you can see a snippet of it that I posted. It is literally like light and sound projected onto that building, so it's an amazing like feat of like. It's like a cinematic light show that is just projected onto this colossal building. I don't know how else to describe it.
No. I think you described it well, but it is the kind of thing that you do have to see a little bit to understand like the like impact of it, you know? Yeah. Because it's really cool, and some of the stuff that it's doing, I wouldn't have expected. How often does that happen, or what is like?
I think it's all. I don't remember. I remember. I think it's only weekends that they do it, like Friday, Saturday,
like
Sunday.
Every weekend.
But then and it's been going on for a while, and it's like it's a whole block of things. So it'll be I feel like it's maybe like 15 or so minutes in total, and then there's a break, and then they do it again like on the hour or something for a few hours. And
God, that's so cool.
But there's like the Godzilla show that it's just this kind of really cool montage of just different Godzillas across different eras. That's just like celebrating 70 years of history. And there's also
that's specifically a 70th anniversary thing.
I believe so. I think that came out a few months ago, I think.
But like earlier, imagine like for the anniversary of this major pop culture thing, having this projection on the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building. Like this isn't like a studio building.
Right.
This isn't like a billboard. This is like a government building.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool. I genuinely like can't quite fathom how that would translate here in any way outside of very specific things,
right?
You know, for very specific places within the country. And granted, like you've mentioned, you've been going to specific places in Japan, but even I guess New Yorkers would have to tell me what I don't know. But like, even if I think about big places like Chicago, where I spent plenty of time, I don't know what that would be there.
Well, I think like because they also other light shows that they had there that are similar to this Godzilla. Calling it a light show doesn't really do it justice. Projection shows that they have are like music videos that like artists have made as well and things like that.
Okay, so it's like art installations that happen to also
more
include
of
like some pop culture history.
It's more of an art installation thing, but I think to your point though, like I know there's been like things where New York City has done like light shows on I don't know, Empire State Building or something like that. I think it is like that, but I do think it is still a lot rarer for those light shows to be celebrating a pop culture thing. But also I don't know what pop culture thing in America specifically would be the equivalent to Godzilla in its cultural importance. And historical importance. You know what I mean?
You've already said it. The only thing that comes close is like celebrating Mickey Mouse, but we don't celebrate Mickey Mouse the way that they celebrate Godzilla.
Right. And like
we don't
Mickey
really
Mouse
treat Mickey Mouse all that well a lot of the time.
And Mickey Mouse is like is still only a cartoon character.
Yeah.
It's not like a representation of like a cultural trauma.
Right. Totally.
You know?
Yeah, we don't really have that.
We don't have that. And I think that's what makes Godzilla so unique is that like it is something that is like there's a lot of reverence towards what that character and that world represents and sort of reflecting on the history of it all while also kind of in a weird contradictory way also celebrating like how fun and cool it is that this is sort of like a mascot that you kind of have.
Yeah.
And it's weird to kind of think of it like that. Like it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I think
it's because we don't have something.
Because we don't have something like that. Yeah. Yeah. And I think, in Japan in general, is very like mascot heavy in every way.
Sure.
Like everything has a mascot of some kind. And so like I guess the celebration of like a personification of something is a lot more integral to society there than it maybe is for us.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there are two big things. I'm sure you have plenty of stuff, but there's two big things I do know you did, but don't know very much about them yet. One of them, I know you went to at least some sort of pop culture cafe that was either Godzilla themed or had Godzilla stuff. Because I saw some sort of drink with Godzilla and Mothra.
Yeah.
And then I know you went to the hotel. So I'm eager to hear about those things.
All wrapped up. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
So there is Godzilla Road in Shinjuku, which is the big road. It's not like, I don't think the street name is that, but like it's colloquially known as Godzilla Road. That's like, the area in Shinjuku that leads to the great Hotel Gracery that has the big giant Godzilla head on top of it that roars every hour between like noon and 8, I think. So that's wild. There. Yeah. I mean, so imagine cool. Also, imagine living in a city where there's just like a giant, just like monster head that like roars and everyone's just like, yep, this is normal. Like, what? I don't know. I would be really curious if there's like, listeners who are actually like natives of Japan. I would be curious how it sounds us talking about this because literally a tourist, an outside observer,
we're outsiders
talking about it. So I would be curious how it comes across, or if the way we're interpreting it as these observers, like how that comes across. Because a lot of
we're just not getting something right.
But also it's like it feels insane to me to be like that fucking giant Godzilla head that's just like in a major part of your city, like. That's fucking wild, but maybe it is wild to everyone who lives there too. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not as normalized as I think it is.
Yeah, it turns out everybody actually fucking hates it.
Yeah, right. I mean, maybe it is annoying. I don't know. But there's that, and like Toho Cinemas movie theater is also like right around there as well.
Okay.
Little sidebar. I didn't see a movie there. I did consider like, wouldn't it be funny if I saw Kraven the Hunter at Toho Cinemas while I was in Japan?
I would
have. They were showing it.
Shit my pants if you came back and told me you did that.
They were showing it, and they were selling merch for it.
Wow. I bet the merch is cooler there. I don't even know if we have merch over here.
That's the thing. I was just going to say, the sidebar, the movie theater, I didn't literally see a movie, so I don't know what the experience of seeing a movie is, but the movie theaters in the lobby are so fucking nice. For one, you get trays, so your popcorn and your drinks, you would just carry them.
Imagine
on
that,
a
being
tray.
able to carry all of your shit. I'm sure we have theaters that do that, but most of them don't.
Right. And maybe, and again, I only visited one Toho cinemas.
You went to the nicest cinema.
It probably was the nicest one, but it still was it was still nicer than the nicest one that I have around here.
Right. It's still part of your trip, regardless of where you went.
It was still cool. And I was still like, I want to come back and see a movie here.
Yeah.
But like, there's also just like whole, rows of like flyers for upcoming movies that you can actually like take away that have,
cool.
It's a little mini poster with then information on the back. And then, a whole like gift shop there that's like merchandise for current movies and also merchandise for other stuff. There was one Godzilla thing that I got there that I left it at Chris's place, so I don't have it right now, that I think was like a little mini anniversary booklet that you could get from Toho Cinemas that was there. So like vintage historical movie stuff and then also current movie merchandise and stuff like that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So I've got you, of course, a framed Kraven the Hunter poster from
Oh
Toho
my God.
Cinemas.
Thank you so much. I can't wait for it to arrive. Put it right above my bed.
Yeah. I did not actually do that. Did not spend money on that. But anyway, obviously the main thing there is like the Hotel Gracery, which is like the Godzilla hotel, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That is the hotel that has the Godzilla head on top of it. If you go there, even if you just go to the lobby, even if you don't stay in the hotel, it's its own little mini experience. Because they have like an exhibit outside of the lobby that they swap out, I guess every year, maybe.
Oh, wow.
If not every
That's
year,
cool.
then like maybe every couple of years.
Still.
All I know is that the current one was a Godzilla Final Wars exhibition because that movie came out in 2004.
Yeah.
So it's the 20th anniversary of it.
Yeah. I saw the words Final Wars on one of your blue skies and promptly scrolled. I was like, there's going to be something I'm not supposed to see.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and it's cool because it's just, it's just like, it is life size in that it's about how big the suits probably were.
Oh, cool.
And then how big the city was compared to it. So you got a really good look at like the intricacies and details of like what a destroyed miniature city looks like and what those sort of
cool.
Suits were looking like. I'm sure they weren't the real suits, and they were just models and everything. But like the model work of it is really incredible. And it's just, it's there for a photo op, but it's also there just because it fucking looks cool as hell. And they were playing some of the soundtrack behind it and everything, and had some information about the movie and everything.
That's neat.
But yeah, you enter through that. That's the first thing you see when you go to the lobby area, and then the hallway to the lobby is like just a collection of Godzilla movie posters on the wall. And then in the actual lobby, there's a little tiny mini Godzilla gift shop that's there. I was very thankful that it wasn't any bigger than it actually was. I did get a nice like canvas painting.
Ooh.
That's like of the Godzilla Road. So like you see the Hotel Gracery in it, and then like a big Godzilla in the background. It's really pretty. But I got that. And then also the big window to the Godzilla head. You used to be able to go up on the terrace and like, sit down and have coffee there and like actually get your picture taken. They've had it closed off for, I guess, maybe a year or two now. Apparently someone jumped off the building.
Oh no.
So they don't say that it's closed permanently, but I feel like it probably is just closed permanently. And the Godzilla Cafe, it is really cool because they have like these sort of Godzilla themed drinks and snacks. You can get like lattes that have like a Heisei Godzilla and then a Mothra printed on them. They have sodas that had the -1 Godzilla printed on the top of it. I think it was the Millennium Godzilla, I think is what it was. On the other one, I don't remember. I didn't get the sodas. I got the coffees. Yeah. And then I also got the Godzilla pancakes that were Godzilla versus Mothra pancakes. That was a giant hunk of chocolate, a chocolate Godzilla, solid chocolate on top of a Mothra cookie with like what looks like crumbling chocolate building or rocks on top of pancakes. and the syrup or whatever it is like silver. It was fucking
I'm
wild.
gonna be so real. I didn't read the text that accompanied that picture and had no idea that those were pancakes.
I mean,
I thought it was some sort of like ice cream thing.
I mean, it was all sugar, baby. You're buying it for the look and less than the taste. So they were pretty tasty, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it was good chocolate. I couldn't eat that whole fucking Godzilla because it was truly a giant hunk of solid chocolate in the shape of Godzilla. Which I mean, you were paying for that more than anything because it was small. It was a small plate, but yeah, it was it was. Again, they make these things for you to take pictures of and post on Instagram.
Sure.
Like, that's what they're for.
Yeah,
but I'm into that stuff. It's cool. It's really cool to see. And you don't get that for many things. So
yeah,
that was really neat. And in that cafe too, like there was a fun little like tiny model city where they just put a bunch of Godzilla toys in. The actual like model work on the city was like really well done, for one, but then it was like a Shin Godzilla and a Ghidorah. There's an Anguirus in there, which I thought you would love. I think a Rodan and a Mothra larva, and another and I think a Heisei Godzilla as well. But yeah, so that was all fun. And also I will say too, because this is a big tourist spot, like fucking everybody speaks English. Like everything is in English.
Yeah.
It is all for the
I know
tourists,
that you
baby.
have begun to study some Japanese. Did you have the opportunity, or did you feel compelled or not weird at all using any of it at any point?
No, I mean, mostly just like arigato gozaimasu for thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's
like
pretty much the only
things,
thing I needed to use. Because, pretty much everyone, because again, we were going to the places that are what most tourists go to.
Yeah, and that's going to be so many places you could go all over the world.
Right. So like pretty much everywhere, everyone spoke, if not fluent English, enough English to get by. And the few times that there was a language barrier, everyone knew what Google Translate was, and we would just speak into our phones. So like there was an Uber driver that we had a whole conversation with through Google Translate, like the whole time. And it was a really fun time. And we were talking about like we like Kamen Rider. Oh, well, to you, the way that you like Kamen Rider is the way that I like Spider-Man and Batman. Like, it was a really fun conversation. It was a big car guy too, which was really funny to me, like asking us about American cars. And we were like, all the cars American drives are fucking gigantic. All the cars that you drive are very small. That's the big difference.
Yeah.
But so the language barrier was like not an issue pretty much anywhere we went. But and there's a few options when you stay in the Godzilla Hotel. There's a room that's like has a good view of the Godzilla head. So like you can see it when it roars like very vividly in that room. And then on the top floor, there's an entire Godzilla hallway where the entire hallway, like as soon as you get out of the elevators are all Godzilla themed. And like these things are like segmented off. Like you need your key card to get to your floor. Like so you have to pay to even see the Godzilla hallway. So, there's like every elevator is decked out with like a big Godzilla image. And then there's like Godzilla, collages that are around those elevators. And then down each hallway, there's just like rows and rows of behind the scenes photos of old movies with trivia. But it's like tons of images from them and like really nice, just like printed photographs that are, some of them were even like things that I don't remember, but like where it's like, oh, I didn't like realize that or something like that about the suits they were using or something like that.
Yeah.
So like really fun little bits of trivia. Honestly, I wish I had more than one night in that hotel because I don't think I spent enough time like reading all of that stuff before we had to check out.
How could you?
But that is an option if you don't want to spend top dollar but still want to spend some money. You can just stay in a regular room in that hallway and still get the fucking cool ass Godzilla hallway and still get access to the lobby.
That's really cool.
Which is really cool. The thing that I stayed in was the kind of top tier thing you can do in that hotel, which was like the main Godzilla room that they have on that top floor in that hallway, which only stayed one night in there. It is very pricey because they know that, they know what they're doing, but I've never stayed in like a gimmicky room like that, which it's absolutely what it is. It is a total gimmick tourist trap room. But I fell for it, baby, and I had a great fucking time. Room fucks.
It's touristy, but everybody knows what they're doing. It's not really a trap, right? Like it's an attraction.
That's true. Yeah, it's an attraction. Yeah, it's like going to a little amusement park in your hotel room.
Yeah.
And also it was still, one of the biggest rooms we stayed in the many hotels that we were there, because all the rooms we were in the cities that we were in were very, very tiny.
Oh,
Except for the one in the suite we got in Osaka was fucking gigantic. But the ones in Tokyo and Kyoto were like very, very small, which I think is kind of part of the course. But yeah, no, this room was actually like a decent size. Yeah, so it's a gimmicky room, like I said. But if you want a good view of it, it's annoying to just be like, go to my Instagram and look at my stories. But like, I do have an Instagram highlight that's just all the pictures and videos I took, and there is like videos of the actual our first entry into that room, where we're discovering it as we go in. I'm not good at like the Instagram live stuff and shit, so it's not like a well-produced
hey everyone,
video.
It's your boy Derek.
Yeah, I'm not good at that. It's mostly just me opening the door and being like, holy shit, what's that? What the fuck? And then not figuring out how to turn on the lights. So like, that's great, but that's not the type of content that I make, and I'm happy with that. But yeah, I mean, if you want to get a good tour of it, I guess that's the best way to do it. But yeah, I mean, the main things about it is that like it is the Godzilla Room. There's a branded plaque of the Godzilla Room in there. And as soon as you go in, you're greeted by a couple of things. There's a fun little like beautifully lit like blue lit building of the Hotel Gracery that you are staying in. And then next to it, to scale, is a Godzilla that is like embedded in the mirror. So basically what they did is that they have this big giant wall mirror there that, for one, makes the room look a lot bigger than it is. It's still a good size room, but it does make the room, when you look at it in pictures, the room looks fucking huge.
Of course.
But it also means that they only need to have half of a Godzilla statue, because the other half is just mirrored, which is like kind
Smart.
of, it is. I think it's like really clever. Like I can see people getting kind of angry at that. I think it's like really, really smart, because that means that you can fit a Godzilla in your room without it actually taking up space to have a hotel room. You know?
That's really smart.
And I don't know, it leads to like really cool fucking photo ops. So you're greeted with a Godzilla. It's clearly like modeled after like kind of a Heisei era Godzilla for sure.
Damn.
And the whole floor around it is like, looks like a destroyed Tokyo under your feet, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then you walk into the actual room, and basically the two beds are flanking a giant Godzilla claw that's like bursting through the wall. So you get to sleep directly under Godzilla's claw. Life size. And it's life size. It's really cool. And all like the pillows are, have Godzilla's logo on it. The chairs are honestly like pretty cool there. You got a little chair and table set. The information book is Godzilla branded. You have a Godzilla tissue box, which is the kind you can actually buy those.
Oh wow.
There you get like Godzilla postcards when you're there. You get a little Godzilla gift bag, which I'll go through in a second. You get Godzilla like packaged coffee, which you better believe we took with us.
Whoa.
It's literally just regular coffee, but the bag has like the poster to the 91 Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, basically.
But I love that shit.
Yeah. The window, which you're on the 30th floor of this building, so it's a beautiful view of Tokyo that you get, but on the building there's like these kind of frosted images of the Tokyo cityscape with like with kaiju around it. So you get like a Godzilla, you got Mothra, you got Rodan, you got Gigan, Mecha Godzilla, Space Godzilla. I think maybe one other one I'm forgetting. I got probably King Ghidorah too. All along the window. They're kind of hard to see during the day, but like at nighttime, it's really cool because it basically looks like the silhouette of a kaiju against the city that you're looking out of,
Yeah.
Again, it's
cool.
all gimmicky shit, but like it's fun. It's like clever design work for it, And on the wall next to one of the beds, it's like another sort of timeline of movie posters that you see. I think the coolest fucking thing to me that whole room had, that's also in the bedroom area, is that there's a prop that they have. And I think that they swap the prop out every so often. And so there's like in that little prop box, it's like concept art of the original Godzilla lining the wall. And then the prop that I had, I felt really lucky to have this. It was a Godzilla skull from Godzilla versus Destroya from 1995. We haven't watched this for the podcast, but like, there is a use for a Godzilla skull with the eyeballs in it from that movie. And but it's like an actual prop from that movie. Like it's not just like a remade thing or an art piece. Like it's an actual prop with like a little, information thing. So you basically have like a historical museum piece like that you're sleeping next to, which is the coolest fucking shit like in the world.
I like that it's looking at where the beds are.
Oh, it stares at you. Whatever acts you're doing in those beds in that Godzilla room, Godzilla is watching you, and he is horrified
Mouth
by what
agape.
he is horrified by what these homosexual Americans are doing in his bed. Yeah, so that's the bedroom. I think that fucking rules. I mean, that's obviously the highlight of it. But even in the actual like toilet room, like the little room where the toilet is, which is segmented from the sink and the shower.
Yeah.
This was the weirdest thing. Pretty ballsy. They put blacklight in their bathroom, which I think is, again,
whoa.
Like,
Hotels,
you know what?
black lights.
I mean, I guess it seems like a pretty high-end hotel. They obviously, it must prompt them to clean very well. But like, yeah, you go in there and like you can press the green Godzilla button in there. The black light turns on, and the black light is basically like this sort of, it's like a control room for like a G-Force, like JSDF kind of like, anti-Godzilla like military thing, right? Like, I think it's specifically from like the G-Force or, from one of the Heisei movies. I think like that is what it's modeled after. I don't know if that really matters. It's just like you're in a control room and it's all black light and there's images of like planes and like, I think an image of Godzilla or whatever.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, and so you can sit there and just like poop in the dark in a G-Force console, I guess. It's a little weird, but like, it's fun. It's a fun little secret, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't tell you that. You just see a green button and you press
Like,
it and
I
that
guess
happens.
I'm pushing this. Yeah.
Right. The shower room I thought was fucking cool as shit because it's just lined with concept art from the 91 Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah movie. Like you take a shower with that. Like it's just like imprinted on the walls.
That's like cool as hell, but it's cool because I know that they wouldn't do that if it wasn't protected, obviously, but it's like also horrifying to think about at the same time because it's like,
not like the actual
that's a shower.
It's not the actual concept art. Like obviously it's like,
still,
it's not like paper. It's like, reprinted prints of it. But yeah, it's still really, I don't know. I thought that was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
To shower next to concept art for a movie that I really like. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, the interactive elements, there's a couple of them. The blacklight is one of them. I wish there was a little bit more, but the other one is really cool. It's another thing where there's just like a green button by the bed. The weird thing about it though is that like it is a little bit of like a secret thing because you have to have the TV turned to like a specific like input channel. Huh. So if you just press it, like nothing's really going to necessarily happen. But if you have it set to the correct channel, which is a thing that like the information book tells you, just doesn't tell you what it does. Yeah. You press that button, and if you have like the lights in the like doorway area turned on, they will turn off. You'll get this like blue light like on the building and under the TV that turns on. Because I forgot to mention the Godzilla that's in the mirror. His tail extends like into the bedroom past the TV.
Oh, wow.
And so you have a little setup of like destroyed cityscape under the TV basically.
That's
and there's
cool.
lights that you don't see that I think only turn on when you like get this interactive thing set up. So you have these blue lights that suddenly turn on, and then you start hearing like a Godzilla roar that feels like it's in the background. The beds start shaking. Both of the beds start shaking. And then the TV turns on to this like this news broadcast about Godzilla attacking.
Whoa.
And it's in Japanese, but it's all subtitled. And it's all just made for this, which you can tell because the budget is $2, but it's fine. It's fun.
Independent journalism, Derek.
Yeah, sure. Because the news broadcast goes to like news reporters reporting on a Godzilla attack, and then you start seeing things getting destroyed. And as it's happening, the bed shakes to like what's happening on the TV as if they're reporting on Godzilla approaching your building, right? That's the whole deal. So you'll hear Godzilla's footsteps, and then your bed is shaking to Godzilla's footsteps. And then at a certain point, the TV might go off, and then the Godzilla statue, if he's roaring, shooting his atomic breath, the Godzilla statues dorsal fins light up
That's
with
so
that blue color.
cool.
And like the city changes, like the city lights change to red. It's fucking cool. I did video the whole thing. I don't have it posted anywhere because, you know, all the platforms only allow you to post like a minute and a half. And also go to the room and be surprised by it and experience yourself. But yeah, it's fucking cool. And it's just a fun little, like, you know, 5-minute experience to have.
Yeah.
Like basically like a 4D experience, like when because you have the bed shaking alongside it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a well-designed like little like ride kind of.
Well, it's cool because like obviously like Japan and Godzilla aren't the only place or franchise that have like themed hotel rooms, but there are so many places that you end up seeing do it poorly that it's cool to go to one that does some stuff really well and does cool shit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the best judgment on this because I've never done a gimmicky room like that before. So maybe this is bottom tier. I don't know, but I had a fucking fantastic time in it. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like people who've done it like it, right? So I thought it was really magical, and I think that the combination of little like, you know, interactive fun things with like actual like historical elements. Like I think that if it was just like a silly statue and a fun little movie, that would be one thing.
Yeah.
Like it would still be cool. But I think that plus like the actual prop and the concept art, like that's what I think makes it feel really special. Because it's like, oh, you're not just putting a fucking giant claw in a room and then calling it a day. Like you are acknowledging that there's a long history here.
Yeah.
And if you are a fan of this, you're going to appreciate being surrounded by that history. And I think the fact that, as far as I know, I don't know how often they do it, but as far as I know, they swap that prop out every so often, which is sort of like, then you're encouraged to come back at a later time to see what the next prop might be that you get to sleep next to, which is really cool.
That's so cool, man. That sounds so cool.
Mm-hmm. It's also very expensive, but you get little goodies. You get little goodies from it.
Yeah, tell me about some goodies.
And if you have 2 people stay, which I did, you both get like one of everything, which is
nice.
Or you get 2. You each get
person
one of
gets
right. So you know, which is really cool. You don't have to share. The only thing that you have to make a decision on is they give you 2 little Godzilla statues that are different, which is cool. So you have to decide who gets what. You get a nice little box, and it's just like. This one, I think it's supposed to be the 92 Godzilla design, but you know, it's just a little Godzilla statue.
Oh, that's cool.
As if I needed another Godzilla figure.
You don't have enough, so.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. So you get that. You get Godzilla-shaped paper clips, which is kind of funny.
What? You're going to have to send me a picture of one of those at some point.
Yeah, because that will not show up over the Zoom.
No.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. You get a box of Godzilla paper clips.
Incredible.
You get Godzilla like Post-its, Godzilla Room Post-its, and like little like bookmarker Post-it things.
What's so funny is like there's exactly 50% of my brain is like I never want to use these Post-it notes, and then the other 50% of my brain is like I would use these at work constantly.
Yeah, I'm using the hell out of them. Are you kidding me? You get a Godzilla Room thermos as well, which was really nice.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought that was legit. You get a pen, of course, that just has the Godzilla Room Hotel Gracery on it. And you get postcards in there as well. I don't have those in front of me, but like just fun Godzilla art that is exclusive to, like, it is about the Godzilla Hotel specifically. Yeah. And let's see. And I think that's it. But then you also get like a nice, like you get a commemorative like medal. It's like
you did it.
Like, yeah. And you can get it engraved. So like I got mine and Chris's name both on it.
Yeah.
It's like Hotel Gracery on one side and then Godzilla Room on the other side. And then
whatever you,
you get a fucking like medal for surviving the Godzilla Room, I guess.
Congrats, you did it.
Right. Also, this wasn't Godzilla Room related, but I think if you are like a member of like the Gracery Hotel group, which I joined it because it was free, they gave me like bath salts and stuff too. I'm like, this is so legit, man. Feels so fancy.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Those are the goodies that you get for the room. And the only other merch that I got, this isn't from the Godzilla Room, but I did get the Godzilla energy drink that you can get from from the vending machines.
Yeah. How is it? I'm expecting not very good.
It tastes like Red Bull, honestly.
Okay.
I like Red Bull. Yeah. This is like -1 edition, so I'm definitely keeping that can.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also got a Biolante shirt.
Ooh. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty really cool shirt. I mean, there's so many fucking Godzilla shirts everywhere.
Yeah.
So I limited myself to just one because it's like you can also buy a lot of Godzilla shirts in America too. And the sizing shirt sizes in Japan are challenging because it also, because it's like, it depends on where you go, because some places, I think if it's like probably an in-house, like local shirt maker, like they're going to be way too small. I was at one of the Eagles. I think it was when I was at Eagle Tokyo Blue, I went to buy like a shirt from there, and the guy was very kind because I'm sure there's a lot of like bears who are tourists going there, and it's like, oh, you need a large? No, you don't. You need a 2X actually.
That's good.
And he tried it on and it's like, yep, I need a 2X actually. And one of the shirts that I got from the other Eagle in Osaka, that did not have someone guiding me, does not fit me. So that's going to be a gift for someone, probably, maybe. But then other shirts that I got, I was like, all right, well, I'll buy them a size or two up, and I've tried them on and like way too big for me. So like, but it's also like a lot of places you go are like made for tourists. So they probably know that like Americans are doing it. So they make them a little bigger. So I don't know. So if you're going to Japan or buying t-shirts, it's a crapshoot, man. Like none of them are going to fit properly, probably. Oh, well.
I wonder if that's like just an Americans going places thing, or if that is like, if there are specific places like known for it. You know what I mean? Like, is it us or is it other places?
I don't know.
It's probably us.
But everyone I talk to is sort of like, you are going to have size problems in Japan because everything runs really small compared to what we do. So I don't know. Yeah. I think that's all of the things that I did. Do you have any other questions?
I don't know that I have any other like Godzilla related questions. I'm sure I'll continue to pick your brain about all kinds of other things because I saw some Digimon stuff and some Pokemon stuff. And
Look, this is like literally like 2% of the things that I packed an insane amount of stuff. While I was there. This is just exclusively the Godzilla related stuff.
Did you have to buy any extra luggage, or were you properly prepared?
I was not properly prepared. I brought an extra duffel bag. And still had to buy a suit. Like I was able to split it. Like Chris and I split a suitcase. So it wasn't like an entire
third. You didn't each have to get your own separate.
It was an entire
extra.
It was not an entire third suitcase just for me, but it was a big suitcase.
Amazing.
And it was basically 2.5 suitcases that I came home with, which was fun to get on a train. I will say.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. That's awesome. No, that's so cool. I'm so glad you got to go. It's been so fun seeing bits and pieces via social media, but now like hearing about it. I am extremely not well traveled. I'm the opposite of well traveled. So like getting to hear about this stuff is really cool. And I hope people will forgive my naive travel questions. But this is really cool. I'm thanks for sharing all this stuff.
Yeah. No, it's been great. I mean, and again, it's sort of weird because it's like, I don't know. I'm sure some people listening have been to Japan and like are sort of like, yeah, no shit, dude. But
but there's probably people listening like me who've never been anywhere, Right.
I mean, and I don't know. I'm not very well traveled either. This is the first time I've been overseas.
Yeah.
Like, I've been anywhere out of the country I've been to have still been relegated to one of the bordering countries and stuff. So like, this is still the longest flight I've ever been on. So a lot of this stuff was still kind of new to me too. And again, I think I visited all this stuff as a tourist. I still didn't scratch the surface of everything I wanted to do. And, I one day would love to go up to the Godzilla zip line in the amusement park, and I forget what the name of the place is, but it's more northern Japan, so it was super out of the way.
Tell me you zip line off of Godzilla.
No, you zip line into Godzilla's mouth.
Godzilla.
It's Shin Godzilla, and you zip line into his mouth. Yeah,
my
God. And I saw ads for that while we were in Tokyo, and I was just like, God damn, man.
Someday
I want to be there so bad, but it's like the whole other ass side of the country. Yeah, so I mean, didn't even scratch the surface of it, but it was still a really wild time. We made some new Japanese friends, and again, if you are listening and like have more cultural expertise on these things, I would love to pick your brain about like if my observations are off base or not. Because again, I'm coming into this as a tourist, not an expert on this thing. And I do think it's helpful to have context for the movies that we were watching that come from a culture that we don't come from as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, well, enough of that.
For now.
Back to the podcast. I'm going to take a swing here and announce what we're doing all the way through May.
Ooh. I probably don't even know all of this.
Yeah, pending any obviously unforeseen changes that might come up, because that's a long time away. But tentatively, this is what the plans are right now. I can't announce a full theme because I don't want to spoil things for you, Doug. But
sure.
I think
people who know will probably know.
There are some sort of there are some themes that are kind of interwoven throughout these movies. It's not all one theme for all of them, but there are multiple overlapping themes for some of these that will come to be clear, I think, by the time we get to the end of them. But next month, since we kind of had to stop things for a little bit and pivot, we're going to have 2 episodes next month. So double feature. On the 13th, we're going to have the 2014 American Godzilla movie that started the Monsterverse. So that is coming up next. And then on the 27th, we're going to have Shin Godzilla from 2016, which of course started the Reiwa era.
And then everything after that, I will not have seen. There will be no movies left that I have not seen coming into this podcast.
Yeah. We're knocking out 2 movies that Doug has seen, so we can finally get back to the true premise of the podcast, where Doug knows nothing. Then in March, we're finally going back to the Showa era with Son of Godzilla from 1967. That is on March 13th. Very excited for that one. I believe we have a guest for that one as well.
Hell yeah.
April 13th. This is a bit of a pivot. This is a last minute thing that I decided to throw on the schedule, actually.
Ooh, okay.
You might have seen this one, actually, Doug. I'm not sure. Have you seen Toho's 1967 King Kong Escapes by any chance?
I actually have not.
Cool. I decided to throw that in here, and it's a little bit of a weird one because it doesn't exactly, like normally when we play in those offshoot movies, it's because it's like
directly feeding into something.
It's not. It's more. I added it because there is a character in there that's going to come into play like later on. But where that later on movie is, there's a lot of other stuff that I wanted to cram in there.
Okay.
And I didn't want to cram in another movie, and there was just space in the schedule, and there is an element of it that you might not know about. I don't want to spoil it for you. That like just sort of tangentially works into the movie that comes after it.
Ooh,
so like,
okay.
I think thematically it'll work. So April 13th, King Kong Escapes, and then the Godzilla movie we're doing that month on April 27th is Godzilla versus MicroGodzilla 2 from 1993.
Interesting.
It is called MicroGodzilla 2. I will go ahead and clarify it for you right now, not because it's a sequel, but because they specifically branded it like that because they didn't want people to get confused with the MicroGodzilla movie from the Showa era. It's not actually
I see.
Like
that actually makes sense.
It's more like another Godzilla versus MicroGodzilla movie, but it's like it is in the Heisei continuity. This is coming after Godzilla versus Mothra from 92.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. And then in May, on May 13th, War of the Gargantuas from 1966.
Yay, we're doing it.
That is the sequel to Frankenstein versus Baragon. The reason we're doing it is very funny. It'll become clear once we see the next movie, because the movie after that they were doing on May 27th is Godzilla against MicroGodzilla from 2002. So
from 2002. Wow. Okay.
So that's back to the Millennium era. So another, anthology thing that we'll be doing then. But yeah, so we got a couple of MicroGodzillas, a couple of like kind of Kong-ish type things,
Yeah, this is an interesting list for me because I don't know the rationale. So this is fun.
Yeah, there is rationale. I thought very long and hard about ordering things this way. So yeah, so it's gonna be a weird run, but I think a very fun run.
Good. I'm excited.
I'm very excited for a lot of these because there's a lot to talk about. We haven't done predictions stuff in a while, but you've seen Godzilla 2014, so I still don't know if we can really do predictions.
Okay.
Do you have a strong memory?
No.
Of the no.
Okay. I remember that it's in San Francisco, and I think Bryan Cranston's in it.
Okay.
And
do you remember any other actor who's in the movie? I'm asking you for a very particular question.
I feel like Millie Bobby Brown is in one of them, but maybe not this one. I don't know. Okay. I think she's in it eventually. She's in the Monsterverse eventually.
Oh, you're gonna love an actor who is in this movie.
Wait, like
then
genuinely?
no, I'm saying that ironically. There's then
because I know there are actors I
know,
genuinely love later in the MonsterVerse.
Yeah, just given recent history.
Oh no.
But that's all I'll say.
Okay, can't wait.
yeah. You'll know who I'm talking about when you see them.
Okay.
Yes. So, but yeah, okay. I mean, I don't really know what to ask because it's the start of the MonsterVerse, and you know enough about it, but you don't remember the movie. So that's exciting to go into. We know what you know, which is not much. Do you remember if there are other kaiju other than Godzilla in the movie?
I feel like there is some kind of monster. Well, I think there are monsters of some kind, but I don't really remember why that would be. So I'm going to say yes because something is telling me that there are some sort of weird creature-y things, but I don't know if I'm like conflating it with something else.
Okay. Cool. That's exciting. You truly
like maybe
Great.
Like maybe in the sort of like, oh no, there's a thing happening, like whichever one it was where they had like the trilobite things first.
Sure. Okay, that's really exciting. Cool.
Yeah, I watched it one time. That's it.
Cool. That'll be fun. That'll be a fun one to do. Great. Well, I thought this was going to be like a quick little 30-minute thing. And we're like a full-length episode now, so cool.
Whoops.
Whoops. Well, we will set you off into Hanna-Barbera Godzilla in a second, but that was a Patreon episode. I will plug our Patreon right now because just a couple days ago, as of this episode dropping, we actually did a Patreon episode on the other American Godzilla cartoon, Godzilla, the animated series, which was the much improved sequel to the 1998 Godzilla movie. So if you liked our coverage of the 98 Godzilla movie, or even if you didn't, but like that Godzilla cartoon, just for $1, you can join our Patreon and listen to that episode. It is out now. That, again, it's very fun when we watched a whole hodgepodge collection of episodes. That's the second time I've used hodgepodge tonight. I don't know why that's coming a lot. It's a whole little collection of episodes from that show that we watch and talk about. And we talk about a lot of behind the scenes stuff from it as well. So definitely check that out, especially if you like the Hanna-Barbera episode that you're going to hear in just a second. But if you would like to find other queer creators to talk about media, check out the Glitterjaw Queer Podcast Collective at glitterjaw.com. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Blue Sky at Glitterjaw, and Instagram at GlitterjawPods. Doug, people want to find you and everything you're working on. Where's the best place to do that?
You can find me all over the place at Icky Bully, and you can find everything I'm working on at glitterjaw.com.
Great. Same. You can find me in those places at Derek B. Gale. Find everything else at glitterjaw.com. Y'all know the plugs. Check out our Discord. Email us, screonkpodcast@gmail.com. Rate, review, and subscribe. And next month on February 13th, we're beginning the MonsterVerse with 2014's American Godzilla. And now, enjoy our episode on another very fun American take on Godzilla.
Up from the depths, 30 stories high, breathing fire, his head in the sky. Godzilla, and Godzuki.
It's a kaiju bite.
Incredible.
I fucking love that ridiculous roar so much. It's like it sounds like when he's doing it that it's like coming fully from the center of his chest. You know what I mean? Like it feels like he's really forcing something.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is pretty brilliant. There's a kaiju bite that we're doing, and we're doing it on the original animated Godzilla cartoon from 1978. Yeah. So this is, he's doing this Screonk tie-in many times and having to push it back. So I'm glad we're finally getting to do it now. And I'm glad we waited because I feel like we give it proper time for you especially, because you never watched any of this cartoon.
I've never seen this at all. I don't know that I confidently knew this even existed until you told me.
Okay. Yeah. For context, if you're listening and you're not like aware of what this is, It was a Godzilla cartoon, American produced, that ran on NBC from 1978 to 1979 for new episodes, but it aired for like longer than that in reruns. You'll hear it known as the Godzilla Power Hour. You'll hear it known as Godzilla the Animated Series. You'll hear it known as Godzilla the Original Animated Series, because there ended up being another Godzilla the Animated Series in the 90s. There's also like 7,000 other names. I'm going to go through the whole list of names in a bit, because like every like half season they change it to pair it up with other stuff, and it's just very funny. We'll get into that in a bit though. This is like obviously a Patreon episode, so like way more casual, but I did still end up going down a rabbit hole with some interesting background for this show that's like way more interesting than I
didn't know if I was going to get any of that, but I'm glad I am.
I wasn't planning to do a deep dive, but then just a little bit that I read, I'm sort of like, well, that's
sure.
really
Yeah.
that's really interesting. So we're going to do it anyway. But I am curious, like, first of all, the way that we did this, you know, we're not going to go through every single episode of the show. So I'm curious. We selected some episodes that like we both definitely were going to watch, so we could both have something to talk about, you know, together. But did you end up watching more than the 4 that we pulled out?
I did. I watched, I think, I'm looking at my notes, I watched 5 other episodes as well.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. The ones that we picked out, it'll be listed in the description, but we did the first episode ever, The Firebird. We did season 1, episode 11, The Breeder Beast, season 2, episode 2, MicroGodzilla, and season 2, episode 13, The Deadly Asteroid. So that's kind of the general context for both of us. I had watched the show before growing up, because they played reruns on Cartoon Network all the time.
Were these familiar? Like, did you remember? Okay. You did remember them.
Yeah. So MicroGodzilla has always been my favorite one. That stuck with me just because it's such a fun concept. And there's other ones. I think I vaguely remember The Firebird and The Breeder Beast. How could you forget that thing? It's not a show that I've ever like sat down and watched like all 26 consecutively or whatever, but like plenty, you know, it was a thing that was just fun to watch on Cartoon Network and reruns, because it's like, especially as a kid, it's sort of like, I know that this isn't the live action Godzilla that I've seen on merchandise and stuff, but like this is was the first Godzilla that I fell in love with, you know. I think I talked about it on the first episode of Screonk. Like I have vague memories of watching, you know, Godzilla movies in passing and whatever when I was younger, but like, so I might have seen a live action one before this, but like my true first Godzilla love was this show. 'Cause he is just a big giant dinosaur.
Yeah, pretty much.
Friend, you know? Like, you know, and I have a lot of love and affection for this. Obviously, it's like very different from any other Godzilla thing ever, but also, you know, similar in a lot of ways too. So I think it still definitely kind of fits in the general canon of Godzilla. But I don't know, what are your overall thoughts on this watch?
I think it's fun. I feel like I have similar feelings to this as I do most of the stuff we watch from this era, where some episodes really delight me. Like, they just kind of have the perfect mixture of like weird and fun and funny. And then other episodes, I'm sort of like, what are we doing? You know?
It's very hit or miss. Very, very hit or miss. Yeah. I will say, Sci-Fi Explosion, I plug his Twitch all the time, and I co-stream stuff with him a lot of times on Cosmic Cartoons. He'll show episodes of this Godzilla show too. So like, a lot of my recent memory comes from that too. And it is the kind of show where it's like, it is fun to revisit, but you do have to revisit it with the mindset that you are watching a Hanna-Barbera cartoon from the 1970s. And it is extremely hit or miss because of that. Yeah. When it's fun, it's really fun. When it's not, it is slow and boring, unfortunately.
But like, it's not worse than a slow, boring episode of any other show that we've watched from this era. And none of what I've seen is worse than like a 1981 Doom episode. So
absolutely, from that Spider-Man show, yeah. And like, and there's, you know what? It's I think it's miles better than a lot of Hanna-Barbera shows that were airing concurrently too that you don't remember.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm not super familiar with Hanna-Barbera stuff, especially from this era, but I was impressed a number of times watching this, being like, I was not expecting this to be animated as well as it is. Not that anything of it's like, you know, incredible or amazing, but sometimes I was surprised. There are some
good flourishes of animation, especially on the monsters in it a lot of times. And Godzilla himself, even though they recycle a lot of stuff with him, like the stuff that they recycle often looks really good,
Yeah.
and they do really good facial expressions on them and everything. So yeah. So a little bit of the backstory on this, because it
Please.
is weird that there's this American Godzilla cartoon that's like unrelated to the Toho stuff. We mentioned Hanna-Barbera Productions. Obviously, it's co-produced between Hanna-Barbera, Toho, Benedict Pictures Corp, but it's mostly a Hanna-Barbera thing. Even with Toho's involvement, they never even aired it in Japan. This is very much like, you pay us money for the license, but we're not touching this shit. And it's really only been recently that like they've done anything with it, because I think the rights eventually reverted back to Toho. So like then they released the first season on DVD so they can make some money off of it. They're the ones who put it all on YouTube of varying streaming quality, I will add, depending on the episode you watch. Some episodes on YouTube look fine, some of them look horrendous. I don't really understand the masters that they have, but very confusing. I'm curious on what the quality of the DVD is based on that, honestly. But Toho had apparently been considering adapting Godzilla for American TV animation as far back as the late 1960s.
Wow.
They'd actually been in negotiation with Filmation way back then. So like that had been going on for a very long time. The deal ultimately collapsed. I'm sure it was just a money issue, because Filmation was also like famously very cheap animation and stuff. So they probably weren't going to pay a lot for the license. And so by the point that by the late 1970s, the last Godzilla movie that is made is 1975, because his sort of popularity in Japan had been declining. But in America, popularity was still pretty big, even in sort of niche markets, because of like TV syndication. Like movies would be playing on TV all the time. So there was, especially with kids, there was still a lot of popularity with Godzilla. And so Joe Barbera of Hanna-Barbera came up with this idea of licensing Godzilla. And was like, I kind of had wanted to do it for a while, because it's like, it's an easily marketable character that kids already like, that's pre-established. It seems perfect for Hanna-Barbera, right? And also they had by this point been doing action and mystery stuff already. They'd already done like Johnny Quest. They'd already done Space Ghost. They'd done a Fantastic Four show. They'd done Scooby-Doo, and all of those things had varying popularity, right? So like they'd already kind of been in the realm of action. Why not do like another action sci-fi cartoon? So Joe Barbera apparently was a good friend of Hank Saperstein, who was, who had been working with Toho for years at this point. He had already had a good, a good relationship with them. So he was able to get Saperstein to sort of, strike up a conversation between the two. This is actually funny though. Apparently Hanna-Barbera wasn't the only company that was looking to do it. At the same time, DePatie Freeling Enterprises, who was doing the Spider-Woman cartoon, would be doing it the year after this. Actually, they were tapping Toho to produce the Godzilla series, and then Hanna-Barbera was producing another Fantastic Four series. But then DePatie Freeling was able to snatch up the rights for Fantastic Four from Hanna-Barbera instead. So instead, NBC brokered a deal where they would just switch the licenses that in the deals that they were making. So DePatie Freeling did another Fantastic Four show after Hanna-Barbera, and then Hanna-Barbera was able to negotiate and get Godzilla and do that, which is just kind of funny. And all the while they end up doing Spider-Woman like right after this, which is very funny.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah. So we almost got a Godzilla in the same universe as Spider-Woman.
Oh, can you imagine?
Yeah. So once Hanna-Barbera got the rights to Godzilla, they tapped Dwayne Poole and Dick Robbins on to develop it. They had just worked together on Super Friends, so it made sense for them to come over from one action sci-fi show with, well-known properties to another, right? Robbins, interestingly, credited writer on the first season of the 1967 Spider-Man show.
Hey.
Yeah, so that was a big credit, and they had written on a bunch of Hanna-Barbera animation since then. Okay. Poole also wrote a bunch of Hanna-Barbera animation. But here's the thing that's interesting about him. After his time with Hanna-Barbera, he got really into writing TV movies. A lot of them throughout the 90s. They're the ones who like basically all just sound like schlocky murder thrillers, like stuff like Menu for Murder, Beauty's Revenge, A Face to Die For, just the shit you'd see like on network TV, like on Saturday afternoon. But then from there, he pivoted to Hallmark Christmas movies.
Wow.
From what I can tell, he wrote like I think maybe around like 15 or so Hallmark Christmas movies. He was doing them right up until he died in 2023.
Wow.
Like there was one in 2023 that came out. So he ended his life just writing all kinds of Hallmark movies for
Amazing.
Christmas, or Christmas movies for Hallmark.
What's funny is like the schlocky like murder mystery to life or to Hallmark movie pipeline makes perfect sense to me, but going the step backwards into like Hanna-Barbera cartoons, I'm less. What do you like? Were there specific cartoons that he like worked on that would make it make sense, or like it was?
I mean, they just kind of worked on all of them.
Yeah.
I didn't write down all the ones he worked on because he worked on a ton of them.
Sure, that makes sense.
Pretty much anything that was around at the time, you know. Yeah, but I mean, also like I don't know, that place was like a machine, you know. And I do think that it does make sense if you're someone who's able to crank out scripts on a tight budget for a company that's like not necessarily known for like quality so much as just quantity.
I guess that's the through line.
That's kind of makes sense for why you'd be good at writing TV movies, especially Hallmark movies where they just crank those suckers out. And like Hanna-Barbera, people just like eat it up, you know, regardless of what it is, right? It's like comfort food.
It's reliable,
Hanna-Barbera, I think. The thing that people kind of, I think, go back to with Hanna-Barbera stuff is that it's like comfort food. You're not looking at it because you're not watching it because it's like true art necessarily. Yeah. It's because it's like there's a certain level of familiarity and like a certain level of competence that you know you're going to get from a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, even if it isn't breaking boundaries, you know? So like I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the main directors on the series, Carl Urbano, who had been doing cartoon shorts since the 1930s, and Ray Patterson, who'd worked on Disney movies like Fantasia and Dumbo.
Oh, I know that name.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, very wild. Yeah. They're the ones who do the animation that I'm sure is very much on par with Fantasia.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely. Fine art right there.
Yeah. The creator of Johnny Quest, Doug Wildley, came on as producer. I think at one point Poole had even said like really the real inspiration for this show was Johnny Quest more than Godzilla. Did you ever watch anything Johnny Quest related, Doug?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if at some point I saw something, because there were multiple iterations of Johnny Quest, right?
Yeah, in the 90s, there was like a new Johnny Quest show that was like an edgier Johnny Quest that was around the same time as like SWAT Cats and stuff like that.
If I did, it probably would have been that. But no, I don't think I ever saw any of the original Johnny Quest stuff.
I mean, a lot of Johnny Quest was just sort of like this kind of family unit, essentially, of like, you know, you have your kid, you have, you know, your one person of color in the cast to provide some diversity. Mm-hmm. You have like a sort of either adventurer and or scientist, like father figure, and they go on adventures, you know, and interact with like monsters and shit. Like it's kind of that kind of vibe is what they're bringing to Godzilla here. Also, the theme tune was Hoyt S. Curtin, who composed the theme tune. He also did pretty much all of Hanna-Barbera's classic tunes, stuff like Flintstones and Scooby-Doo. Every Hanna-Barbera tune, you know, he did it, which is why this Godzilla tune is a fucking banger.
I wouldn't put it up there with Flintstones, but yeah, it's good. It's catchy.
Yeah, I think it's great. I love the tune. I mean, I wish there was more to it.
I think that's
like
one
Godzilla,
of the knocks, honestly.
I think the Godzuki bridge, which I think could be a nice little part of it, but it's a bummer that ends up being like kind of the main part of the song that's just sort of framed, bookended with the Godzilla bits that are true bangers, the banger part of it.
I think that's what it is. Like the parts of it are all good, but like there's not, I need more for it to like really reach that level, you know?
It's weirdly short. It is weird how short it is.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It is, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. But I like what we got from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, a few things about it. You know, they did only license the Godzilla character from Toho.
Okay.
So that means that no other elements of the Godzilla universe were allowed to be used.
That's enlightening.
They'd have to pay more money for it. Yeah. So I think that my understanding, and from what like Barbera said too, like it wasn't that they didn't want to do a Godzilla adaptation. It was just like money constraints, network constraints, and standards and practices. So, you know, they didn't have enough money to license the entire cast of kaiju. You know, Hanna-Barbera, famous for working on a budget, right? Godzilla, I'm sure, was hella expensive. So they only got Godzilla. And
Then Standards and Practices started telling them, and I quote, this is Hanna-Barbera quoting Standards and Practices. He says, and I quote, "Don't shoot any flame at anybody. Don't step on any buildings and cars." And then pretty soon they've taken away all the stuff that he represents. So I think that the staff were interested in doing a more straightforward-y kind of Godzilla thing, but they literally couldn't. Yeah. So it made a lot of sense that it was like, I guess we just have to kind of make him just a purely heroic character, right? Also, an NBC executive wanted to light up the storyline, which is what prompted them to create Godzuki for this father-son relationship, because that's something that they had done in other Hanna-Barbera shows. Johnny Quest had a father-son relationship as well. So, I think that makes sense. They still, like, if a lot of like more recent interviews with them, they still kind of felt like it was so different than a lot of the other Hanna-Barbera things that they were doing at the time. Poole had said, and I quote, "It was a real action piece with serious antagonists in a science fiction format. It seemed different, and I do remember a lot of the artists trying to find new ways to do things, trying to find a new style that would represent Godzilla in his approach so the kids wouldn't mistake it for a Scooby." And I do think that, like, as Hanna-Barbera-y as this show is, I do think it does feel like very different from if you watch like Space Ghost and Johnny Quest. It does feel like, even with the Godzuki of it all, it does kind of take things like very seriously as it can take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everything's done like sincerely. Like there's nothing's really sort of, again, aside from Godzuki, nothing's really like wacky, or like the things that are wacky are not really treated like they're wacky. Like one of the episodes that we're going to chat about has like ice people in an ice spaceship, and it's all treated very seriously.
Yeah, it's very sincere. And I think, like, it's stupid to say this, but like it was very clear that they were interested in like some level of like science behind this stuff that they cite. It's obviously like silly, ridiculous comic book cartoon science, but they did go heavy on the fact that they have a ship with scientists on it and would often try to find at least have some half explanation scientifically for why things were happening. Well, they weren't just having random magic monsters show up all the time.
One of the main characters is a doctor, and one of the other main characters is like basically half her assistant and half like a boat hand, like
right.
So I appreciate
think that was a cool aspect of it. I think it was a really cool aspect of it. But that's the main thing production wise. I think the airing of the show is really funny. It was canceled very quickly. The ratings weren't very good, but they still kept it on the air for a long time. It was airing on NBC with their main block through 1981, even though it technically finished airing new episodes in 79.
Wow.
They continued airing it. But what they would do is they would constantly be packaging it with other shows as like an hour block or 90-minute block, right? Which is the thing that you'd see all the time in cartoons of that era, up through the 80s too. So I'm just going to list you all the many ways that Godzilla was aired, and I'll be curious if you even recognize half of these Hanna-Barbera properties. So I think the most well-known one, the way it was originally aired, was the Godzilla Power Hour. That was aired with Jana of the Jungle.
Okay.
I'm not really familiar with that. I don't know if it's Jana or Jana. I think it's Jana. I never watched that though. Then it was packaged as the Godzilla Super 90, packaged with Jana of the Jungle and Johnny Quest, which makes sense. Then it was just aired as just Godzilla, because they were airing it solo. Apparently it was supposed to be paired up with episodes of The New Shmoo and The Thing cartoon, the solo Thing cartoon, where they'd call it Godzilla Meets the Shmoo and The Thing, but that didn't happen. They ended up packaging it separately.
What is the Shmoo? There's like a type of ghost called a Shmoo.
I'm stupid. Yeah, it's the fucking... I never realized he had a solo show. Because the Shmoo was part of the Thunder.
Oh, I know this thing.
They're part of the
I have no idea. I just recognize this. Whatever the fuck this thing is. I've seen this character, I guess is all I can really say.
No, I totally know the show. I have seen cartoons with him.
Wow.
Okay. What was he? He was in something.
Fred and Barney Meet the Shmoo. Fred and Barney Meet the Thing.
I'm confusing him with
Lil Abner.
I'm confusing him with the Herculoids. The Herculoids had Gleep and Glop, and they were modeled after Shmoo.
Okay.
The Shmoo. That's what I'm thinking of the Hanna-Barbera thing that he was in, but he was not in one of those shows.
Gotcha.
Except for, I guess, the new Shmoo, I guess, apparently.
The child in the Herculoids is just Pete from this show, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Yep. That The Thing show is also very funny. I've watched that on Sci-Fi Explosion a few times. That version of The Thing, it's literally a kid who has a ring, and he says, "Thing, ring, do your thing," puts them together, and then turns into the thing.
Wow.
It's an interesting show. It's very strange.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I mean, I'm not going to call it good, but it's fun. It's a funny take on the thing. Because he still like talks once he becomes the thing.
Yeah.
He just talks like comic book the thing.
That's so funny.
But yeah, he's like a teenage kid with a secret identity in that case.
It's just Shazam.
I mean, actually, I didn't think of it, but yep, basically is. So after that, then Godzilla is packaged as the Godzilla Globetrotters Adventure Hour.
Shut the fuck up.
He's paired with the Super Globetrotters
Amazing.
cartoon.
That one I know. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of it, but I am very aware of it.
Yeah. Then, as you'll probably be familiar with this too, then he's packaged as the Godzilla Dino Mutt Hour with Dino Mutt the Dog Wonder.
I don't think I know Dino Mutt.
You don't know Dino Mutt?
I don't think so. I'm looking. So sometimes with Hanna-Barbera characters, I end up recognizing the character and realize I just don't know what they're called.
Gotcha.
No, I don't think I know Dino Mutt. I don't.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't recognize this.
Dino Mutt's fun. Yeah, he's teamed up. He's teamed up with Scooby. He's teamed up with Blue Falcon.
I would have been shocked if he hadn't teamed up with Scooby-Doo.
Right, of course. Yeah. Yeah, there's a Dexter's Lab episode where Dino Mutt and Blue Falcon guest star.
Really?
And it's all about
That's
Dexter learning that Dino Mutt's like funny, goofy antics are actually like vital to Blue Falcon's superhero, and it's really fun.
It sounds like a Dexter episode for sure.
Yeah, it rules. It's a great episode. Yeah, and I think they also showed Funky Phantom sometimes in that block as well in place of Dino Mutt. And then after that, it was the Godzilla Hong Kong Phooey Hour with Hong Kong Phooey.
I recognize this name.
I love Hong Kong Phooey. That was
and I absolutely recognize this character. Yes.
Out of the Hanna-Barbera action things, it was Godzilla and it was Hong Kong Phooey. They were definitely my favorites. I'm sure there's probably some weird racism
almost
things
certainly
in Hong Kong Phooey, almost certainly. But you got fucking Scatman Crothers as like a dog ninja. That's cool as shit.
Yeah,
so,
I recognize it. I'm beginning to wonder, like, I had a lot of, like, how much of this would I have been exposed to, I wonder? Because, like, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't remember, like, bumping into these cartoons as I watched TV.
I don't know if it was ever syndicated on network. I think it really was like TNT and Cartoon Network.
Okay.
Once they got the Hanna-Barbera rights, they ran the shit out of all these. That's how I watched all of them. Were Cartoon Network mostly. But they would release like, VHS tapes, compilations and stuff.
We had those for like Looney Tunes. We had a bunch of like Looney Tunes compilation tapes. So it's weird we didn't have this stuff because it would have fit right there on the shelf.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, they were merchandised all to hell in the 90s too, because there was this resurgence of them because of Cartoon Network and TNT.
We had Scooby-Doo tapes.
Yeah. But after the Hong Kong Phooey Hour, then it was just solo Godzilla again for a while until it was replaced by the Smurfs.
Got it.
So
just straight up replaced by the Smurfs.
So that's when it stopped airing for a while. It was off the air until like the early 90s, and that's when TNT and Cartoon Network picked it up and aired it a bunch. I mean, that was a major part of their programming stuff. Like Godzilla, they aired that all the time. Godzilla did like a short in 1999 that was Godzilla versus the Y2K bug.
I meant to watch that and I just forgot. Is it easy to find?
No, yeah, it's okay. I can send you the YouTube link. It's really fun. It's like 2 minutes long, and they just they do the thing that like Adult Swim did for a long time, where they would just sort of recycle the animation, and then they just drew in this new Y2K bug monster. Godzilla himself isn't even in it. It's with the human cast and Godzuki. Yeah, because it's super short. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, it's fun. It's very fun. It's very silly. It's just like they can't contact him because of the Y2K bug.
Of course,
their technology,
that makes
obviously.
Sense. Yep.
Yeah, but it's fun. Yeah, so so it thrived because of that.
Yeah,
because of those reruns, and that's how I was exposed to it.
Kind of amazing that all of these formats were named Godzilla / whatever, considering it didn't do well, right? Is what you said? Like it wasn't.
Yeah, it didn't get ratings, but I do think that Godzilla is still
As
like
a character,
a marketable
still, yeah,
property, even if people aren't watching
that
the
makes
show.
sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, actually, that does.
And
make
there
sense.
probably was always the hope that it would still pick up and attract people. It's sort of like they're not going to pay to make more episodes, but that doesn't mean they can't, make use of the license that they spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
Or that they spent a lot of money on,
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And cast wise, most of these people are not, people that you would necessarily recognize. They're just Hanna-Barbera people, but a few interesting ones. Hilly Hicks plays Brock. He was known for Roots, but we know him from the Amazing Spider-Man pilot movie because he played Robbie Robertson in that pilot.
Yeah.
Don Messick is the voice of Scooby-Doo. He is the voice of Godzuki. I feel like you can tell it's very obvious because he just is doing a Scooby-Doo voice as Godzuki. But Godzilla's voice actor is fucking cool. It's Ted Cassidy, who was Lurch on the original live-action Addams Family TV show and voiced him in any Hanna-Barbera animated adaptation and crossover. And he did the roars and growls for the Hulk in the first 2 seasons of the live-action Hulk show.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was wondering because like it does. I mean, it's a cool cry. This is not a dig at it, but it's very much like just a guy doing a roar. Like it's a man doing a roar. So I was curious as to who that was.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think it's really fun. I mean, yeah, because they're asking him to do a weird role, but I think I hope that he has fun with it because it seems like he's having fun.
I have a question for you. Godzuki in the first episode sounds different. Was that also Don Messick?
I think
just like
as far
took
as
a
I
note?
know, I think it's Don Messick throughout the whole show.
Okay.
Yeah, so I probably just changed his performance a little bit.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. 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 The only other thing I have to say about the show generally is just like, it is one of those things that I think it's funny to read about it. Because, I grew up in the 90s. So this is sort of like, I'm a kid watching a cool, fun Godzilla cartoon, but if you were an adult when this was coming out and already a Godzilla fan, there's a whole, I think, like long history of Godzilla fans, like quote unquote, famously hating this cartoon because of how different it was. I know. I mean, that's just like the type of fandom stuff that I think, I mean, it's still present where it's just like, it's different, therefore it sucks. But I do think that it has sort of shifted a lot generally. I feel like that was just the default thing for nerd fandoms where it's just like anything that's slightly different sucks automatically. And I don't think that's the case. I think people are more willing to at least appreciate the differences in things. But it's just it's so funny reading passages from books that were like written especially written in the 90s, where it's just all about how horrific and awful the show was and everyone hates it and Godzilla ruined your life. There's this one, my favorite passage, I'll cite it. It was from like a book from 1998 that I think it was Japan's favorite Monstar, I think is what it was called, but I'll cite it. But the passage on this show begins with, Godzilla once had the power to radiate laser beams from his eyes. What's worse, he vaguely resembled Barney, the bane of all Godzilla fans' existence.
Why is Barney the bane of every Godzilla fan's existence?
Because it was the fucking 90s, Doug, and that was edgy humor about how Barney sucks, doesn't he? And that I Love You song is so annoying. I know. It doesn't make any sense.
Those things don't connect in any way.
It's very funny to me that like, I feel like being in grade school, the edgy thing just to do would be to make fun of Barney. And it's like, actually the song is, I hate you, you hate me. And it's funny when it's sort of like, oh, full ass adults were doing that too and thought that was cool. Like, sorry that the show for 3-year-olds on PBS isn't your cup of tea.
Seriously.
Like, I don't know.
Look,
it's just so weird. Like, it's so weird looking back on like the weird Barney hate that existed. Because why did people care so much?
Well, I don't know why anyone cared about Barney, but one, I loved Barney. I still have Barney songs that are like lodged in the crevices of my brain. Flying in an airplane, anybody? Whoa. Anyway, but like, I don't know why anybody cared about Barney, but it is really like, it's not good and it's not funny, but it is notable to hear these things because people complain about things like Thundercats or like Teen Titans Go or whatever. and talk about how like horrible and terrible and how, you know, ruining those things are. And it's like, oh, this isn't even a new phenomenon. This is just literally what shitty fans have been like forever.
Yeah, it's just
for decades.
Yeah, it's very silly. I thought that particular passage, which like I'm not trying to knock on the book in general. Like it's just a funny time capsule.
Yeah.
You know, because it's sort of like you can't even remotely write about it subjectively without just sort of being like, I have let everyone know that I think that this cartoon for children in 1978 by Hanna-Barbera, creators of Scooby-Doo and the Flintstones, is not really very much like the Japanese Godzilla movies. Like,
great.
You know, shit. Like, what are you fucking expecting? But yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about with these, Doug?
Well, you kind of answered my very first question, which was sort of like, what is this world of Godzilla? But I think the fact that they can't use anything other than the character of Godzilla kind of answers that question. Because like one of the episodes we watched that we agreed to watch was the first episode, which is just the Firebird. And I know cartoons from this era. I wasn't necessarily expecting like an origin story in a serialized show. But as I kept watching episodes, it didn't become any clearer as to like where this Godzilla comes from or even goes when he's not there. And so I wasn't sure if there was something there, but I think it sounds like the answer is just they couldn't use anything from Godzilla, so we just have Godzilla.
Yeah, according to publicity materials, the backstory of the show that's never explained.
Oh, great!
Is that well, it's not going to really answer much for you. It's that Godzuki was trapped in like a coral reef, and the ship found him and helped him. And so Godzilla was grateful to them for saving his nephew, so he became their protector. That's the backstory.
His nephew.
So, yeah, it's his nephew.
Who's the sibling?
But that's just like cartoons.
I know.
They were always nephews. No one ever had children. That's why Pete should just
nephew,
be what's her name's son.
Billy's a nephew in Spider-Woman.
I feel like I read something about this at one point where it was just a weird fear of making
acknowledging that things had sex.
Well, no, I think it was more like they didn't want the characters to be bogged down by being mothers because they wanted the kids to still like relate to like, you know, the characters as like cool action characters. And as soon as they become a mom, it's like, well, moms are lame. So it's like, you can let her be a mother figure by having her be a nephew. I think I'm just like that. I feel like I've read
probably
that before.
Right.
Dumb network thought process.
God forbid you buck the trend and make a mom who's just fucking cool. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's technically the backstory for it. Okay. You know what this Godzilla is, where he came from. Yeah, there's not really anything explained. It seems like he's just like a dinosaur or whatever, and he's kind of like dragon-like, right? Because he has like the fire breath rather than atomic breath. So I think they were trying to also probably steer away from the nuclear backstory, which I think makes sense for an American adaptation with different context. Well, especially if you can't really use any of the other stuff. I mean, they do acknowledge radioactivity, but like completely separate from anything else.
Yeah.
And so Godzuki doesn't really have an origin either. Like Godzuki just exists and they found him.
And there's context because you'll eventually meet another like little Godzilla in the Showa era that shows up in later movies that's already existed. He's not that, but like there's precedent for like a little Godzilla that can be sort of a father-son dynamic between the two. So I think that they're kind of pulling from that idea to create Godzuki.
But the fact that they only had Godzilla means Godzuki is not based on an existing Godzuki. Right. Got it.
Exactly. Right. Okay. It's still a new character. And like there's a lot of stuff in this show that it's like clearly like again, it's not like they had no awareness of the Toho movies. Mm-hmm. They just weren't allowed to use them.
Yeah.
So they'll still create characters that are like clearly inspired by them, right? The Firebird in this first episode, it's obviously like a riff on Rodan is what they're doing. The breeder beast that we see later, I think, you know, it's very much the Blob, but also a little bit Hedorah, who you haven't met yet.
Sure.
And I was looking at just like lists people have made like that you could
Earth Eater.
You could argue Earth Eater is Baragon probably. I think like there's like a kind of Sasquatchy Bigfooty guy that you could argue is kind of a King Kong homage at a certain point. There's a power dragon that shoots lightning. He only has one head, but he's probably a King Ghidorah.
Man, I didn't run into any of. The only one of these I ran into was Earth Eater.
yeah. Well, because it's only a handful of
Sure.
them. A lot of them are just original monsters.
Yeah.
You know, I think those are the main ones. I think there's also like a creature that like looks kind of like a larva Mothra, but like is, you know, other than the visual.
Okay.
You know, I don't even remember what episode that is. So, you know, they did what they could when they could be inspired by it, but also like a lot of the stuff, it's just, I feel like not generic, but like monsters. If you're having a world just randomly just full of giant monsters around, giant monsters in adventure, you're going to naturally come to like, yeah, of course there'd be a firebird and a volcano, you know? So, yeah.
So I know you have a specific like affinity for this show that goes back to like childhood.
Yeah.
What do you think of Godzuki? What are your feelings on Godzuki?
I mean, I don't know. I think he's fine. Like, isn't the thing, obviously adults watching this and edgy kids are going to hate him because he ruins the seriousness of it by doing goofy things. But I think the thing that I like about Godzuki in this is that like he genuinely like contributes to stuff. Like he is able to communicate with Godzilla. He is able to often like help solve problems or fight off things. Like he is comic relief, but he fucks things up sometimes, but like not all the time. And he is like vital to the plot sometimes. You know what I mean? Like he isn't totally superfluous. I think that his role kind of works well. And I think it also does help that like their other kid character in Pete isn't a fuck up, and he's actually like very serious and weirdly mean to Godzuki most of the time, actually.
Sure.
And it's just scolding him a lot. So like, it's not like you have two annoying kids. It's like you have a pretty competent kid who is also recognizing like, oh my God, this Godzuki fucker is annoying, and then making Godzuki do shit, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like that kind of balances it out better than what a lot of these like annoying kid characters often are, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say I like Godzuki, but I also it's very clear you can't just take Godzuki out of the equation. Like the show would not really work, I don't think, if you just plucked him out and did everything the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think where like I also appreciate that Godzuki has like specific skills that they rely on. Like Godzuki is their liaison to Godzilla and can, like you said, can communicate with Godzilla, and for whatever reason seemingly is really good at communicating with Pete specifically. I think where the only times where I really get annoyed, and maybe you've highlighted what it is, maybe it's not even Godzuki's fault, but like I never enjoy the like grow up Godzuki interactions between Pete and Godzuki. Like all that shit could just completely go.
It's weird because I don't hate Pete the kid.
No, me neither.
Character.
I only don't like him in those interactions, and I don't really like either one of them in those interactions.
Yeah, because he's like really weirdly nasty to him. It's just weird. I feel like they want to have a kid and his dog relationship, but it's like you don't talk to your dog like that.
Yeah.
And also Godzuki is genuinely like portrayed to be smarter than that.
And because that's their dynamic, I feel like Godzuki, who I think the reason you can't pluck him is because of a lot of his comic relief. I feel like Godzuki's at like his absolute like dumbest when they're in those moments where it's like, oh, Godzuki can't walk through a boat without knocking everything over. And it's like, give him a little more credit. He can be funny without doing that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, and granted, I'm just being introduced to Godzuki and I've only seen, you know, half dozen episodes or so. Well, I guess about a dozen episodes. But I was just curious. I knew when I was when I was not vibing with Godzuki, immediately I was like, I know this is going to be one of those things where like everybody hates Scrappy Doo. Everybody probably hates Godzuki. Everybody probably, you know, and so I was trying to make sure I found, you know, the value in Godzuki, and I did.
Yeah. I also think it's useful for him to be a bridge to Godzilla in that like if he's goofy, then Godzilla doesn't have to be goofy, because I think that if you didn't have Godzuki there shouldering that, then I think Godzilla would have to be a little more anthropomorphized than he already very much is. He's just like a dude basically in this, but he would have to be even more so and have to be more directly communicating with the humans if Godzuki isn't there to translate, which means that he would have to inherently be a little bit sillier and more cartoony, I think.
Yeah.
And because Godzooky can shoulder that, Godzilla can be a little more of like a somewhat unknowable presence a lot of times that I think you need, that I think is what works in the show with him. He does always kind of feel like he has to be their last ditch effort often, and he is just sort of this creature who's doing his own thing most of the time, and you call on him when you desperately need him, and then he'll have the cool fucking battles and get to do the cool shit, you know?
Yeah. One thing I will say that I'm confident in my feelings on that doesn't help when I'm trying to make sure I'm appreciating Godzooky for his value is that I do not like Godzooky's design at all. I don't like it one bit.
It's it's a little weird. It's also like he looks more like Varan a little bit. Who I knew you haven't met Varan.
Yeah.
But Varan has like the same sort of like what do you call the underarm wings? There's a name for that, but like the flying squirrel wings.
Sure.
He has that too, and the way the spikes are with Godzooky and the long neck, like. I don't know if it was an accident or not, but it's weirdly feels more like he's a Varan riff than a little Godzilla. And I feel like the only reason they gave him wings is just because then it just makes it easier for him to both be on the boat with the people, but also fly up and talk to Godzilla. Like, and he's just literally able to do more. But it is, I think his design is kind of ugly.
It's like, it's primarily like the head is mostly fine because he's a sillier, lighthearted character. And then like the general sort of idea is fine, but the neck is so long, and then Godzooky's torso is just a man's torso.
Well,
like, it's just a man's torso with like man proportioned arms.
I mean, that's Godzilla too in a lot of ways. Godzilla is weirdly a guy.
Just because it's a man in a suit doesn't mean it doesn't look quite as, because even this Godzilla in this show doesn't have like quite 1-to-1 man torso proportions as Godzooky does. And I think it's weirder on Godzooky because he is like a goofy, silly comic relief character. Whereas like if Godzilla is more serious and you give him some like musculature, it feels less odd, you know?
Yeah. Cause I like, well, what do you think of this Godzilla design?
I like it. I like it just generally as like a monster design. I mean, I don't know that I would want to see it adapted in like live action as a suit, but it works really, really well as like, and I say that like proportions wise, right? Like shape of the head and all that sort of stuff. But like generally as like a cartoon monster and one that you're supposed to feel warmth towards, I like it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I think it only works as a cartoon.
Yeah.
And I think that I believe the Marvel Godzilla had come out already before this. And there's definitely I'm trying to double check that because I don't remember if that's accurate. I feel like it was all around the same time, but I think the Godzilla, the Marvel Godzilla had come out like literally a year before this. So like, I think that, I feel like they're kind of riffing a little bit on that design too when they're doing this. And also just the parallel thinking probably of like Godzilla is often green in marketing materials. So let's make him green and let's make him look more like a dinosaur. And it's also very simple, but I like this design. I like it as a cartoon one, because if they want to make him simple, and they want to emphasize the dinosaur of it all, I like that. I do like that he's weirdly like a man in like the arms and chest. Like, it's strange, but I do think it does kind of weirdly evoke that it is originally derived from a man in a suit. Like, you know what I mean? It's funny that he has like tits and like kind of abs, but then the bottom part of it, he has the big Godzilla thighs at the bottom.
Yeah. I guess it just, I really think it is purely just the fact that Godzooky is like a weird comic relief character that is bothersome. Because like when you say Godzilla has tits and arms, I'm like, well, yeah. Like, just like you said when I brought it up, you know what I mean? Like thinking of like -1, like Godzilla tits, and it's like, yeah, of course, you know?
Yeah.
I will say, I'm now looking at the Marvel Godzilla, and I do like I think I like the Hanna-Barbera design maybe better than the Marvel one.
Sure.
Because the Marvel one, a lot of times the head does just kind of look like a T-Rex. It doesn't really have, and I know that this, you know, the Hanna-Barbera one is sort of like a cartoony T-Rex, but it's not quite as literal with the proportions.
I think too, you know, the Hanna-Barbera one is meant to be a lot friendlier, obviously, than the Marvel one is. So I think they also I think they soften the features a lot, and he is, you know, which is why the Marvel one, just looks more like a T-Rex.
Yeah.
And then Hanna-Barbera one, it's like a guy, an anthropomorphic dinosaur guy, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's fun. It's a fun design. It makes him distinct. What do you think of his laser eyes?
What is that?
So funny. It's so funny that he just has laser eyes. I don't know, because they just wanted to give him. They wanted to give him another power.
Okay,
I think
that's all it is. Okay.
I think that's literally all it is.
I mean, it feels completely at home with cartoons of the era. Like someone's shooting lasers out of the eyes, but it is very strange. And at least in the episodes I watched, which could be completely coincidence, he uses the laser eyes way more than he ever breathes fire. Like there are entire episodes he never breathes fire, but does use his laser eyes.
I think the real answer is that laser eyes, very easy to animate.
Sure.
You just paint those on the cell. Fire, you do have to draw actual flames and animate them. So that's probably one reason why. I think that probably is actually the reason why.
Whatever. If you can spend time throwing Pete into a whirlpool, I think you can draw some fire.
Oh my god. Yeah. I'm so glad you watched many episodes of this. It's so fun to me. Yeah. I guess I don't know, we can talk about some of these individual ones that we had both watched.
Sure, yeah.
Throw out whatever extra things. The first episode is the Firebird one with the Rodan stand-in. I think this one is a pretty standard run-of-the-mill episode for it if you're going to be starting with anything.
And I think it was a good one to start with if you've never watched it, right? Like I think it's a very pretty straightforward, like there is a monster. We need to figure out what's up with the monster. We need to figure out how to stop the monster. And it introduces you to the idea that they can call on Godzilla with their little button. Which why does the captain have the button? Like, I mean, I guess anybody could, it doesn't matter, but like I don't know.
I guess because he's the captain.
I guess so. I feel like the doctor should have the button. Well, but we don't know how they met Godzilla in the first place. So maybe the captain and the Godzilla have a bond.
Maybe. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Yeah.
It also establishes the fact that Pete can do anything the adults can do, pretty much. Like there really are rare circumstances where Pete isn't allowed to do something because he's a child, if ever. It's usually stay here with Godzuki to do something, or stay here to look out, or stay here for this reason. And you get right into that because he's flying the helicopter by himself. Like he's doing all the things in this first one.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I mean, I think an advantage of this show, I do think the entire human cast, I don't have a problem with any of them.
Me neither. The only
they're all pretty,
like, I don't have a problem with Pete other than like, the kid character is never gonna be my favorite, but you've already laid out why he's not the worst kid character ever, you know?
Right. But everybody kind of plays a role at one point or another, and I think they do have a nice balance of like, you know, your Captain Carl Majors, which is like the most captain-y name ever.
Right?
With his big beard, definitely like a bit of a cartoon hottie, I think.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about this. I was like, is Majors hot or does he just have a beard?
I think he's just. A beard.
I do think if he were a live action character, I think how they would cast him, I would find him hot.
Yeah. No, you're right. He just has a beard.
I think that's why I'm sort of like, he's hot, but maybe.
Yeah. But also, he looks like every Hanna-Barbera man.
Right, exactly.
Basically.
Right.
Yeah. Dr. Quinn Darien, I do love her. I think she's great. I think she's really cool. I love that they have this woman scientist, but also like she drives the story much of the time.
None of the episodes I've watched does she ever like fall off of something conveniently or like
she's pretty awesome.
Get snatched up by a flying thing randomly, which is totally what I would expect. You know, I mean, like Spider-Woman's whole thing is making fun of that trope to the point where like Jessica Drew just does that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen at all, even as a joke ever in here. Like there was one episode I was watching where like she and the captain were like shooting guns and she's just right there next to him shooting the gun. Like there's no distinction, you know?
She's cool as hell. I really like her a lot.
And she is, like you said, driving things and is often the one who is able to figure out a solution to their problem.
Yeah. Honestly, she kind of often does more than the captain does in some episodes.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I think the only reason it feels like the captain is somewhat of a protagonist is because of when this show was made. I think if this show were made with this cast right now, it would be abundantly clear that Quinn is the protagonist of the show.
Yeah, for sure. And I like Brock too. Like he's, I like they have like the sort of younger character who's like, I think that they often will sometimes play with him not being sure of himself or whatever. But the fact that he is like her scientist assistant who also knows science things is also very fun.
Yeah.
So,
I like that he's younger than the adults, but is probably college age, I would think.
I would say so. I think he's
it means that he can kind of go between the adults and Pete at any given moment. Like he can pair up kind of with anybody.
Yeah.
Which
I think it's
makes him
smart.
a really versatile character.
Yeah. You have anything else to say about the first episode?
Nah.
I don't think I really. Yeah. The Breeder Beast is such a fun one because first of all, it's called the Breeder Beast, which what a fucking title.
Seriously.
And especially when you get to there's a point in the end when Godzilla is wrestling the Breeder Beast, and some of the positions that they put him in while that Breeder Beast, when he's like full ass up with that Breeder Beast behind him absorbing him, I'm like, this absolutely awakened something in many people.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I've seen some beautiful art of this
Really?
Godzilla. I will say.
Oh, like with the Breeder Beast or just in general?
No, just
I
in
see.
general. Just in general.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, is this like a popular ship on AO3? Is Hanna-Barbera Godzilla and the Breeder Beast?
Yeah. No, I'm saying people, people who have gotten a lot of the show. I'm sure the Breeder Beast is one of them from that sequence.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I love anytime there's sort of a blob creature in anything,
Yeah.
I think the design of this one is fun.
I do too. I think this would be a really fun, I don't know how they would do it is the problem, but this I think would be such a fun monster to do in like a 60s. Actually, you know what? I think this would be a really fun monster to do in the 80s. I think that would rule. The Breeder Beast in the 80s. But I would like to see how they would pull it off in live action. I think you could do some really cool stuff with it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would, no matter what, it would always be sort of probably riffing a bit on like the Blob,
I totally get that, but I do think this has kind of like an interesting structure to it that makes it feel very
true.
Like it is the Blob, don't get me wrong, but like it has some sort of structure to it that makes it feel a little bit more like a kaiju than just
that's true. It's a little bit more alien. It feels more akin to kind of like jellyfish-esque than it does amorphous blob.
That's why I love it. Come on.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. No, I think that makes sense.
This is the episode where they do sort of remind us that radioactivity is at least some kind of anxiety in Godzilla stories, because they have to figure out how to tackle it without Godzilla just laser eyeing it.
Right, because it'll actually cause like a nuclear explosion because of the makeup of it or whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that one was
really
cool.
Interesting.
This is also the one. This one did. I literally just said that Quinn doesn't just like randomly fall off stuff, and that is generally true. But she does fall off the boat in this one and can't swim. And I'm like, ma'am, you work on a boat.
Yeah.
You need to learn how to swim yesterday.
That is very
but
silly.
it is more treated like a problem because she can't swim, not because she is like an incompetent woman,
Yeah. And it is helpful that because she's still sciencing, because
she's still the one figuring everything out.
It's like that water was freezing even though it looks like it should be boiling, and then that I forget how, but that somehow plays.
And I think she's the one who figures out like, oh, it's basically still a one-cell organism, like the nucleus, aim for the nucleus. So like, even when she does fall in this episode, it doesn't feel like, right, like you said, because she's incompetent or anything. It's just notable because every episode they're on a boat.
I know. Well, that's the thing that's interesting about the show that I think I like about it, that always struck me even as a kid, that it is wild to see a show that is really, the majority of it is like they are on a boat in open water and there's like nothing else around.
Yeah.
Like it's an interesting, always a swerve when they go to an island or go into the city. Like it's just so striking, but it makes a lot of sense because then you can have Godzilla walking around in the water, I guess.
Sure.
And that prevents him from destroying buildings, which SMP didn't want.
Yeah.
But it is still makes it feel very unique and kind of isolated in an interesting way.
I think for cartoons of this sort of like its peers, absolutely makes so much sense for Godzilla. Though not in the same way, but I feel like the 90s or I guess early 2000s cartoon also their like headquarters was on a boat or something, wasn't it?
They're on the water a lot.
Yeah.
Like their headquarters is right on the water because they're in New York. So yeah.
But yeah, that is cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah. No, it's fun. I also think that it's always fun when Godzilla does a lot of like, since this is a cartoon and there's like no limitations, like he'll just catch missiles with his hand to stop a nuclear explosion. He'll just pull a net. Like
this Godzilla, the people who made this one were like, we're not doing T-Rex arms Godzilla. This Godzilla has capable, dexterous hands. Like he will catch anything.
Yeah, he got man arms for hugging.
Truly. There's so many moments where he's catching something or grabbing something, just snatching it right out of thin air.
Yeah, it's so funny. No, I love it. The next episode, MicroGodzilla. This is always my favorite episode as a kid because it's so good.
Best episode.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm glad you agree.
For so many reasons. It's
so cool.
I don't know. I haven't watched every episode, but I am so confident no episode could possibly top this unless it just does the same thing. Because here's the thing about MicroGodzilla. It's already a cool concept to be like, Godzilla big, what happens if Godzilla gets small? But what that in itself is cool enough, right? Like Spider-Man has done stuff like that. All kinds of shows that can shrink things do shrink things.
And shrinking things are always fucking fun.
It's always fun inherently. But what's particularly fun about it with Godzilla and what makes it perfect in this show is they are specifically not allowed to have Godzilla destroy things in fights. So what better way to have him destroy things in fights than to shrink him and battle a rat and a spider and some single cell organisms where he can knock over a bunch of cans and throw a bunch of little stuff. Like you still get the like kaiju clumsiness of a big kaiju fight in a city, except it's on a small scale, so you're not actually breaking the rule of Godzilla smashing the city. But he still gets to stumble around and they still get to wrestle. Like, I honestly think of all the episodes I've seen, the best kaiju fights are in this episode.
That's kind of a good point.
Without question.
Lots of them. There's lots of them too.
Yes, and that's part of what makes it fun too, is as he gets smaller, he fights different, quote, kaiju because he's fighting different small creatures. Down to the point where he's microscopic and fighting basically like plankton, you know?
Yeah, it's such a cool. I mean, it's so good, and it feels like there's such clear inspiration in this because it's like already the show, the sizes are very inconsistent for both Godzilla and Godzuki all the time.
Truly,
how you're watching.
I really
extremely inconsistent.
Was not confident until he was on the boat that like he was shrinking, because there was one moment where he's standing next to the boat, and I'm like, I think you're smaller because I feel like you've held the boat before. But you don't immediately register as smaller. So I don't know what to believe here.
Yeah, but I think they kind of take advantage of that uncertainty but by the time he is human sized, they fucking nail it every time. And I think they do a really nice job of just revisiting him, period, like cutting away and then revisiting him, and he's like way smaller, you know, he's shrinking very quickly, but gradually. I think that's also what sets it apart from other like kind of cartoons that do this, because usually it's sort of like a shrink ray makes you small. This one, it's like this pink shrinking fog that's making him gradually get smaller at like at a fast rate, but because it's gradual, you get to see him interact with things at different sizes. So there's a point when it's fun because like I think when they first notice it, it's just like, oh, he's like his head's just peeking out of the water instead of it being at his ankles. Okay, but then like once he's like standing next to Godzuki, it's sort of like, this is trippy. Yeah. And then when he's like at a point where he's like cat size and he really is acting just like an angry cat, it's so fucking funny. Yeah, and then just like, I don't know, it's like that, and then there's a certain point when like he's like in a fishbowl, and then he's like small enough to be like walking on like the tip of a pencil eraser, and then he's like fighting a spider, and then he's like and then he's in a petri. The spider fight's so good. The rat fight goes on for such a long time.
Incredible! I'm telling you, these kaiju fights are so good.
Yeah. And then I love like when he's in the petri dish, and he's fighting the like plankton or bacteria or whatever the fuck he's fighting, and then like his eye beams cause like a tiny like pin-sized hole in it, and then he just falls out in a droplet of water that if you look at the petri dish, like you wouldn't even notice that there's even a hole in it.
And it just it what's cool about it is like it sounds stupid to say this is smart, but I really think it is based on so many of the cartoons we've watched. Like that drop of water, it is a single drop of water because that hole is so small, and then it just drips down the side of the dish. It doesn't like shoot out like a fountain. He doesn't fly out of the petri dish. It just drips down the side. It's such a good detail.
Yeah, and like the thread of it, I just love how far they go with it. Like the thread of it is literally
there's a timer. Like he will just disappear basically.
He'll slip. So the way that Quinn describes it is that he'll slip through the molecules.
Incredible.
Basically. And just which I fucking love that's the thread of this.
Existential horror.
yeah, it's so cool, and that's the kind of shit I like in like Shrinking Story. It's like, no, you fucking like keep going with that, man.
Yeah.
And I love the working against the clock thing. They really play with like the tension of it too, because they have Quinn like constant, like there's a point when Quinn is like almost about to pass out or whatever, she like knocks something down. There's sort of like, you've been working around the clock, and she's like, no, I have to save Godzilla. He's saved us too many times. Like I'm committed to this.
There are so many good lines like that. There's one line where when they realize he's like sick and shrinking is causing problems for him and someone's holding him, I think it might be Majors, maybe says, after all the times you've held us in your hands, Godzilla, this is certainly an unhappy switch. And it's like,
it's so good. I love like they care so much about him, and I love that. I think that's the thing that makes it good too, because it's like this isn't just a transactional relationship. Like they do deeply care about their like giant friend who's tiny now. The only thing that I don't like about this episode, I think, is that a lot of it really relies on just no one ever keeping an eye on Godzilla for most of the episode. Is the only reason he gets into all of this in a way that like I wish there was something that they could have like, if they had given everyone something to do to explain why they weren't constantly keeping an eye on him, then it would make sense. But it literally is like, they'll just like cut, and just like Pete's just sitting on the edge of the boat, just being like, and Majors is just hanging out being like, what's wrong, Pete? I'm just worried about Godzilla. And I'm like, then be in the same fucking room as him. You're not doing anything, like that. I wish that they could have figured out a way to make that work, because the rest of this episode is really well written. I feel like they easily could have found something for them to be doing, because otherwise they all just look like fucking shitty assholes for just being like, we'll just leave you in a room by yourself and check on you in a few hours, I guess,
It wouldn't be hard, because you can have Captain Majors tracking the fly, which is a thing we haven't even mentioned yet.
Right.
Then you can have Brock helping out Quinn, and then you can have Pete occupied by Godzuki being an idiot. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things you could kind of juggle together. You're totally right. That's really kind of like the one strike against this episode. But I didn't even really think about it, honestly, because everything else is so fun and good.
That's true. I mean, the upside is that allows Godzilla to get into all these hijinks.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Totally. This is the episode with like I was talking about the shooting guns and Quinn and Majors just like firing their like cowboy rifles or whatever, because they have this fly that gets big, and then once they figure out how to solve Godzilla's shrinking problem, they have the method to solve the fly getting bigger problem. And they have these two. I just loved it so much. They just like have these guns full of whatever the antidote is that will like re-shrink the fly back to a fly size, and you just have like Majors and Quinn like just one hand like firing rifles off the side of the Calico.
Oh, it's so badass.
Right?
I love it.
It's so
badass.
They look so
that
cool.
Rules.
It's like Olympic shooting coolness. Like it's awesome.
I mean, oh, it's so cool. The fact that they have this parallel story with the giant fly is so clever too, that there's just always this action going on. And it's like, and again, it would be one thing if it was just like, oh no, it's a giant fly now. But the fact that the fly is also gradually getting Godzilla size is such a smart, inspired move that had to be hard to like write and animate, because you have to keep track of that stuff. But they do a really good job with it, and it makes the whole episode so compelling.
Yeah, I like it a lot. This episode, like I said, this is the best one.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, it ends in I don't know if this is the exact end. Yeah, I think it's the end, because it's like the end gag or whatever.
The shaving.
The shaving thing. But what's so funny about it is like something about just the geography of the shot of having like Brock and Pete like peeking through the door at like Daddy Majors like shaving in the bathroom. I was like, I know that's not funny. The joke here, but the imagery is correct.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, we want to see him. Ooh, he doesn't notice us. Yeah, it's so funny. I love that. That's hilarious. Daddy Majors. No, yeah, that episode rules. I think that the Deadly Asteroid is kind of a big letdown compared to that.
It's so weird. The Deadly Asteroid is like an episode where I'm like why is this a Godzilla episode? This feels like you could have it feels like an episode that was written without a particular like hero in mind, and like you just plucked it off the shelf and had a hero like ready to go. Like you could have made this a Spider-Man story. You could have made this an Amazing Friends story. This could have been a Superman story. Like this could have literally been any story for any hero. And it's like weird that it's a Godzilla one.
It probably is. That's exactly what you're thinking, is that it was just on the script or something. Yeah, because Godzilla doesn't really fit into it. The only thing Godzilla doesn't really even do very much of it because he's frozen for a big chunk of it. And the only Godzilla-y thing that he does that couldn't be done by any superhero is like turning the spaceship upside down.
Dude.
Literally.
Okay, but here's the thing. This episode is stupid, but there are a few things I'm absolutely obsessed with in this episode. One of them is that the problem, or the solution to the problem, is to just turn the spaceship upside down. If the spaceship is drawing the asteroid to Earth, what if we turn it around and then it will repel the asteroid from Earth? That kills me. That's so fucking funny. The other thing too is like, this is just moonfall shit. Like at the point where they realize there's an asteroid coming to Earth, like they're like famous monuments like flying up into the air and crashing into each other, and like gravity's all fucked up, and like
oh my god,
water's not where it should be, and I was like, this is moonfall.
Wow. I love that you're able to work moonfall into this. That's amazing. But you're right. You're not wrong.
It truly is.
Yeah.
I also love so much the moment where like the evil ice people think they've got it all figured out, and they're just like waiting for the asteroid to like come to Earth and destroy everything and create an ice age. And Captain Majors like escapes from his bonds and is like sneaking around to try to like access a control panel or something. And at first, like, you think, oh, he's obviously going to get noticed because they cut right to these ice people, but they're just like laughing villainously, and then turn and are like, wait, what's he doing? And I was like, so you really were just laughing villainously at each other, like, for kicks. Like, you were just sitting in the room just, like, laughing. I think that's beautiful. It's like, this is amazing. You weren't doing anything. You were just laughing at each other. Great. So it's not a good episode, but there are, like, very funny things that happen in this one.
Sure.
Just has nothing to do with Godzilla.
No, I mean, I guess there's precedent for like in like Astro Monster that like Godzilla does encounter like aliens and spaceships, and their ship does at certain points kind of look a little bit like the Astro Monster ship, but I guess that's just because it looks like a flying saucer, really, is all it is, honestly.
The alien stuff isn't conceptually a problem for me at all for that exact reason, right? It's more just like the plot of this story where the aliens are trying to like destroy Earth to create a new ice planet. Like, they don't weave it into this cast or Godzilla in any way that is specific to them, because it's not like the ice people come with their own like ice monster or gargantuan whatever. It's not like Godzilla has to like catch the asteroid, you know, like
you'd think there would be something weird like that. Yeah, you're right. The way that they use them, I mean, the way that they play it is sort of like Godzilla saved the entire planet, which is sort of like, that's cool, I guess, because that is different from just, you know, fighting one monster. But like, other than that, it's like, why is Godzilla even the hero here?
Every single thing that Godzilla does in this episode, you could swap in Superman.
That's very true.
Every single thing.
Yeah, it does feel like it feels like a Super Friends episode. It really does.
So that one was not my favorite, but there are really hilarious. I was genuinely laughing at this episode.
Yeah.
So much weird shit.
Yeah. Is there anything from any of the other random episodes that you watched?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you the ones I watched. Not all of them do I have anything to say about, but I watched the Earth Eater episode. Love the Earth Eater. Obsessed with the Earth Eater. Great. Earth Eater's basically Baragon meets Anguirus, and I love him.
Yeah, that's your shit, man.
So good. The club tail. Oh, amazing. There's also a line in that where somebody asks Dr. Quinn a question, and she goes, "Well, my scientific training tells me nothing."
Oh my god, that's so
like,
funny.
You
that's
bitch.
So good. That's so
I love
good.
it so much.
Wow.
So I love that. And the episode also has an amazing Godzilla catching moment where they're like in a San Francisco streetcar, like careening down a hill, and Godzilla just walks up, grabs the railings, pulls them up so it's like a ramp, and then just like grabs and cradles the streetcar that they're all like in. It's so gentle. So I really enjoyed that one too. That one I really liked. I watched the Stone Creature one. That one was fine. It was like the rock guardians that come to life in Egypt. That is the one that has Pete getting sucked into a whirlpool, which is maybe one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a cartoon ever.
Okay. I don't remember that.
He like, oh God, he and Godzuki are like filling canteens with water, and Godzuki does something to make Pete drop his canteen, so the canteen like floats away, and so Pete wades into this oasis water and is like, "Well, I guess I have to go get the canteen. Thanks, God." Whoa! It just falls into a totally random whirlpool, and then it cuts to this underwater shot where Pete just is spinning from one corner of the screen to the other as he sinks in this whirlpool. It's so funny.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, so that was amazing. The Colossus of Atlantis one was fine but interesting, if only because it has like a weird time travel element to it. But the monster's boring. The Calico Clones one, where they get cloned. Do you remember this one?
Yes.
That one's interesting. That one feels like it feels like there's not as much story as there should be for that one, because the villains, well, one, there like is a villain, you know what I mean? Like there's the guy who's actually cloning people, whose design is really funny. It's like a big dude with like shiny black glasses. It could, in a weird universe, it could be like an Otto Octavius type character.
Right. Sure.
But it feels like there should be more to that, and maybe it's just because there is an actual human villain. But I like the idea of like somebody who's like cloning them in order to, get information about something. Like it's weird that they're getting targeted, but sure, why not?
Yeah.
And then I watched the Cyborg Whale, which kind of did nothing for me.
I don't remember that one either.
Yeah, I don't know why you would. I wanted to. I specifically picked it because I was like, Cyborg Whale sounds amazing, and it's just like, it's basically like a robot whale boat thing that they lose control of, and it charges towards Hawaii. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, they speak to Godzilla in Morse code, so
that's cool. Actually, that's really neat.
I don't think it's like actual Morse code, but like that's beep 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 beep.
Right.
I don't think they say anything, but
gotcha.
Yeah. So those are the 5 additional ones I watched. Not as many
fun.
kaiju as I was hoping in the selection I chose, but
Yeah.
there are probably plenty of other episodes with kaiju that I just didn't get.
But I mean,
I
but
assumed I was
also
choosing 4 kaiju episodes with Earth Eater, Stone Creature, Colossus, and Cyborg Whale.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I do think that speaks to, that's out of 26 episodes that many of them were like not kaiju related. I think kind of speaks to what the show kind of was.
Yeah. Dr. Voltrang has a giant squid, for what it's worth.
That's cool. That's neat. That's neat. But I do think, that probably doesn't help the show, and its reputation and stuff like that. Because I do think anytime it's a kaiju involved, it's a little bit better usually.
Well, it's
or in the terms of MicroGodzilla, like high concept.
It's the kind of thing where I appreciate that they recognize the potential of telling Godzilla stories that aren't just Godzilla versus Godzilla versus Godzilla versus. Sure. But I do think if you're not going to nail every one of those episodes that doesn't have another kaiju, it becomes quick, or it becomes sort of like questionable really quick as to like, why don't you have more kaiju in here, because like the formulaic version of the show is just every week there's a new monster, which wouldn't be the best version of the show, but it is kind of the easy expected version of the show.
Right. Yeah. No, that is really interesting. Yeah.
But that's it. I think we kind of covered everything else I was curious about.
Yeah, I'm glad you had fun with it.
Yeah, it's fun. I'll watch some more of it. I don't know that I'll watch every episode, but there's some other ones that I was hoping to get to just based on title alone that I didn't get to.
Yeah, it's a fun show. You know, and it's from a very particular era that I do think you have to be in the right mindset for if you're gonna, you know, engage with it. And you do have to. I think it's one of those cases
here before.
Right. But like, you know, you have to, I think for Hanna-Barbera especially, you have to like recognize what you're getting into with that. And like, I eat Hanna-Barbera shit for breakfast. I fucking love this stuff. No. Give me more of that terrible animation, recycled background, same voice actor, recycled plots. Give me all that. I love it. Very comforting. But I understand like why it doesn't work for everyone. Totally. So it's not a show that could be like, if you like Godzilla, well, you're going to love this, because you might not. But
it's more like if you like Spider-Man 1981 and Spider-Woman, you'll probably like that. I feel like that's more of a like an appropriate recommendation.
Yeah. It's a definitely nostalgic. It's less nonsensical than a lot of cartoons of this era, I do think, like compared to like some Spider-Woman episodes that are just like absurdist nonsense sometimes. Like I do think they do try to take care in making their episodes make sense internally, like in universe,
I think so.
which I give them credit for.
Yeah.
You know, I think they were taking this as seriously as they think they could for a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Which I think speaks to, you know, how much they actually cared about what they were doing, and I think it comes through in the best episodes of this show.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's fun. I'm glad we did this.
Me too. We promised we would, and we weren't lying.
Yeah. Yeah, and definitely intend to do some other these like offshoot non-movie Godzilla things on Patreon. So if you liked this, you know, look out for that. If you have something Godzilla related that you like specifically are most excited for us to do, you know, let us know, and maybe we'll prioritize that. But I'm excited to be dipping the toes into like the TV shows and comics and stuff. Godzilla. It's fun.
Me too.
It's fun and weird.
Yeah, and I know just as much about these things as I do the movies, so same vibe.
Heck yeah. Well, if you are listening to this, you're our patrons, which means we love you just a little bit more than usual. So stay tuned. We'll have more Skronk related Kaiju Bite stuff in the future.
Bye.